WDRS Talk is made possible by the Anchor app. If you've never heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's absolutely free and allows you to make your own podcast on your phone or on your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast on platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money from your podcast as well without a minimum membership. It's all you need to make a podcast in one place. So, go and download your Anchor app for free, or you can go to anchor.fm to get started today.
You're listening to the Wolf's Den Radio Show. Talk.
Hello, sisters and brothers. Welcome to another episode of WDRS Talk, the Wolf's Den Radio Show Talk. This is your host, your brother from another mother, spreading cosmic love everywhere I can. Wolf Hemora in your ears, in your minds, and in your souls. How's everybody doing out there? Thank you very much for joining me for another great episode here on the podcast. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's still staying safe from Omicron and Delta and XYZ, whatever. I'm sick of this pandemic, and I know everybody is, but we still got to do our part to protect everybody else. And even those who are unvaccinated, we got to protect them too, man, because they're people too. They're annoying as fuck, but they're still human beings, and we got to be compassionate towards them as well. So I hope they see the light and get their vaccine and stop with all the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And let's move forward, man. Let's go back to a new normal or something. Anyway, aside from that, let's see. Some business to be had before we continue with the episode. Please subscribe to all the channels that you're listening to this on. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. A lot of you have been subscribing over the past couple of weeks, and I truly appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, please subscribe to YouTube and check out all the past interviews. These are great conversations with great artists that you're gonna enjoy. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, give it a follow, as well as Apple Music and Anchor. And if you want to give a donation to the show and show your support that way, you can do that as well. And you can do it on the Anchor app or anchor.fm on the World Wide Web. Just go to Anchor and look for the WDRS Live homepage. And there you will see a support button. Just hit that button, and any amount is fine. I got a new donor who is donating 99 cents every month. That is so appreciated. I have a couple of other donors, monthly donors, who are giving $10 a month. Much appreciated. Any amount is welcome, and it will go to the maintenance of the equipment and the the fees for the StreamYard website where I conduct the interviews, and it always goes to the betterment of the show. So if you want to donate some money, man, I would appreciate it so much. Just go to the Anchor app, anchor.fm, and hit that donate support button for WDRS Talk. All right, what else do we got? What else? I am watching a lot of TV these days. I don't know why. I always watch a lot of TV. What are your favorite new shows, man? Hit me up and suggest some. Anyway, I'd like to suggest some for you guys. I really like the new Star Wars series, The Book of Boba Fett. I think it's really cool that they're connecting everything. Even they're connecting stories from The Mandalorian to, the Luke Skywalker saga. And it's creating this bigger picture of what the other characters are going through or have gone through, And it's funny, it's like during Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett gets thrown into that pit, that that sand desert monster thing, and we thought he died, but apparently he didn't die. He got away, and now he has his own series. The cast is great. I think the actors that they chose for this series are really good. They're not famous actors, but I am not into famous actors, man. I want actors who fit the roles. If they're not famous, I don't care. Just as long as they fit the role, and the guy they got for to play Boba Fett is a really cool actor. I think he's from New Zealand. I think he's Kiwi or Australia. I'm not sure. They're two different countries, of course, but they have almost similar accents. So I really can't tell. But I'll do my research. So do check it out. The Book of Boba Fett. And good news: The Mandalorian was renewed for another season. Sure. What else am I watching? There's so many stuff, man. Anyway, hit me up, man. And in that spirit of watching TV, this episode is episode 34. And my guest is a very good friend of mine who I've known since high school days. We were part of a youth church community group called Antioch. I'm sure people my age and a little bit younger still remember that stuff. It was a great time in my life where my social life really started and blossomed, and I came out of my shell. I was a shy kid. I didn't really have friends in school, but that's why I learned. I've learned how to entertain myself, by myself. But this church group, this youth church organization or movement, they really it was a really big impact on my life to open up as a social human being, and especially socializing with the opposite sex, because I before that I had no idea how to talk to girls or whatever, and all that stuff. When you're a teenage kid, a teenage boy, without any friends or peers that will guide you, or older cousins or uncles that could guide you through your social life. I didn't have those, so it was really in this church group that I really found lifelong friends. And my guest today, her name is Tanya Yuson, and she happens to be the executive producer and one of the writers for this Netflix series, which is Filipino produced, written, directed, everything. It's all 100% all natural Filipino production called TRESÉ. It's an animated series on Netflix, so please check it out if you haven't yet. It started out as a graphic novel, and they somehow worked really hard to make this series, this animated series, and it's great. I finished the whole series in 2 sittings, and it involves Filipino folklore, and how would I say, folklore monsters and characters like the capre, the manananggal, the what was that? Oh gosh, what else? What is the baby? The tianak, and they also have zombies in there. They have a zombie episode, and the main character is badass, and her sidekicks are badass. It's a really great production series on TV that people who are not familiar with the Philippines, who are only familiar with Filipino food and Filipinos who are happy and friendly and all of that. There is another side of Filipino culture that is dark and cool and rock and roll, and this is part of that. This series called TRESÉ is part of it. So do check it out on Netflix. And so yeah, me and Tanya, we kind of reminisce a bit because we hardly see each other. The last time I saw talked to her on this interview was maybe in 2016 or 17, something like that. Last time I was in the Philippines, and so we kind of reminisce a bit. If you want to skip that part, if you're not relating to our stories, go ahead. But the stories that we tell, I'm sure some of you can relate to it because we all grow up, man. We were all teenagers once, and that's where we find our that's where we start to find our true identity. That's the first phase of finding out our identity as people. So yeah, so here it is, episode 34. Executive producer and writer of the Netflix series called TRESÉ. This is myself and my good friend Tanya Yuson. Enjoy. Tanya Yuson, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to see you. All the girls say hi.
Oh, thank you. I miss everybody.
Yeah, we all miss you too.
Yeah, the last we saw each other though the last time I was there, which was great.
Yeah, that was an epic night.
That was. That was. It was so nice to see all of you. And I have to say this, okay? I always say this, and I have to say this again. Everyone, all the women there, I'm not going to speak for the guys because they're ugly. But all the women in that table, you guys, you ladies, all of you look the same. Since
Oh my God.
you look the same. I don't know. That's why I said, I'm in the company of witches. They, they're using some sort of youth serum or whatever. But yeah,
I think you need to get your eyes checked, but it's extremely kind of you to even say that.
no, because I'm the type of person if I'm comfortable with you, and I see something about you or whatever that I want to say, I'm going to say it. It just comes out. If it's a compliment, it just comes out. If I'm comfortable with the person, if
Right.
we have history or whatever, I'll just
Totally.
come out and say it. But it was the truth. I was like, how can these women look the same? It's not possible. And then I look at the guys who's like, you know what? The guys look the same too. I don't know what it is. Maybe, and I haven't seen from then. I hadn't seen you in like
Years. It
eons.
was like, yeah, pretty much. We didn't even see each other when I was living in LA. Like, I saw Wally, but you and I didn't even get to like meet up, sadly.
No.
I don't know, maybe the one time with Ian. Didn't Ian and I watch you once? I think we watched the gig, but we weren't able to meet up after.
Oh, okay.
I watched the Three-Headed Dog gig, I remember.
Oh,
And you were
really?
yeah, you
Where?
were amazing.
Where was it? Where was
LA?
it?
Somewhere in LA. It had to be
Okay.
somewhere in LA. Yeah. I think you did like, I don't know where, somewhere in Hollywood maybe.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember.
Maybe,
But you were,
yeah, somewhere
Pero
there.
parang I don't know if we got to meet up after lang. But
I
at least
don't
I saw you in Manila, so that was
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone, since it's you, all those people are going to be listening to this episode. So, hi guys. You guys still look awesome and young and vibrant and happy. So I'm so happy to have you guys as friends.
Yeah. And we've known each other for so long, but I tell you, like when you said, "Oh, let's chat," I'm like, that's so fantastic because I know we always, and I felt that way at that night, and even now, it's like we just pick up from wherever we left off, and there's no time lost, and it's the same.
And there's no judgment. It's the same.
No, it's the same, and it's
exactly
just
the
love.
same.
It's just love back and forth. It's so great.
But one thing I noticed that I discovered was I don't think we should I won't say her name, but she was funny. She's the sister of their brother and sister. Okay, so the girl, I won't say her name, but you know who she is, right?
Okay.
I never knew she was funny like that back in the day because she wasn't. I mean,
Younger. She was younger.
And I guess maybe life experience. She got that sense of humor. I was like, what? Why are you funny? How
No,
are you?
look at their family. Their family is funny. Of course, she's gonna be funny.
Yeah, they are funny.
Yeah.
They are naturally funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
of course
but
she's gonna have a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
But like when we were still in high school, because I mean, even if we were hanging out, we never hung out. I mean, the girls hung out and the boys hung out.
True.
And then if at parties, then we all hung out, or if it was like a weekend or whatever, or, you know, the Antioch stuff, the Luke 18 stuff, then we see each other there.
Correct.
So I never really hung out with her to begin with. So,
Right.
so that last meeting, she was cracking jokes. I'm like, God damn, you're funny. Holy shit. Where'd that
She
come
really
from?
is.
She's funny.
Totally.
And like-
One of my
and like-
favorite people.
Yeah, and like street funny. Like
Oh, yeah.
street funny. I was like, whoa, dude, this girl's cool. I didn't know she was cool like this before. You know? I mean, she's cool, but I didn't know this side of her. I never
Right.
knew. And then I was like, wow, I never knew you were like this. You were funny. Which is, you know, for me, that's a compliment. That's a super compliment.
Totally.
If a woman has like a gutter sense of humor, oh my God, it's the funniest thing. To
And
me.
you don't expect it. Like
Yeah,
if
you
anybody, like you feel like, oh, they're so sweet, pero pala, wow. Tama. May ask him. It's the best.
May ask him.
May ask him.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's the best. So anyway, I mean, talking about that, I never about you and what you do now, and everyone's gonna know what you're doing now with the intro that I do at the start. I never knew it was like Tanya and anime. What the? So that's my discovery for you here when you came out in TRESÉ. I was like, I didn't even know that you were involved. You know, mutual friend Marceline, she mentioned the TRESÉ thing, and I really didn't get it because there was still no publicity happening on Facebook. So I didn't know what it was.
And actually not so much for like abroad or like LA per se or the US. It was really concentrated in the Philippines. So understandably for the US and other places, it was really Pinoy word of mouth.
Right, yeah.
How it got around.
Oh yeah, it got around word of mouth really because and then when I saw you start posting when the posters were up in Manila already and you were posting pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what? Why? Okay, Tanya's promoting this. Maybe she's involved in some way.
Somehow.
And then when I see the first episode, fucking, pardon my French, fucking executive producer Tanya Yuson, I stood up. I know her.
You did.
Yeah, I know her. That's my friend.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, dude. I was so proud. I'm like, holy shit. No wonder she's promoting the thing because she's the freaking boss. So yeah. So that was the coolest thing, man. That was the coolest thing because yeah, it's just cool. I'm all the way here and I see your name on a show on Netflix that's representing our country, our culture is more than our country, but the culture. It's the thing. And I was amazed, you know. I didn't expect anything, and then I think Marceline mentioned the monsters.
Writer?
The monsters. So I go, you know, and then right away I was like, you know what? When back in the 90s, our stoner days. I'm still a stoner until now, but back then,
but now it's legal.
More people were stoners, but I'm still a stoner now. But we would like just talk about stuff like that. It's like, you know what? They should make a movie about tikbalangs and manananggals and all of that. They should. We don't have anything tangible except for the stories, the folklore. That's all we have. It's like innate in us. It's like it's part of being a Filipino. You have to know your monsters, you know. It's like the monster that I learned here living in America is from the Mexican culture. I'm not sure if it involves other Latino cultures, but for sure Mexican, they have their La Llorona. That's their monster.
What is that? Like, what's the La Llorona?
La Llorona is
I'm
like
adjusting. I don't know what like the background is. Sorry. Okay, go.
it's the it's a monster. Okay, it's folklore, and it's a
Yeah.
woman. I don't quote me on this. You can do your own research, but I'm just paraphrasing the myth. I think she kidnaps kids.
Oh,
That's the thing.
interesting.
So that's how they scare the kids.
To go to
That
bed or
that is
come
yeah.
home
It's like if you're not gonna eat Larion,
will get you.
La Llorona is gonna come tonight and kidnap you while you're
Oh.
asleep. So that's how that particular culture, I guess. I mean, because same with us. I mean, our
Yeah, we
parents
have.
scare us.
I mean, we have manananggal. The similarities, like we have manananggal, but that one naman, she'll feed on pregnant women. Like that's what she's looking for. But
okay.
in our the neighboring countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, they have a similar female sort of monster creature that also preys on children, but they're called the Pontianak and the Kuntilanak. The
Are they
difference.
also half?
No, they don't split. So,
Oh,
but they're also beautiful women by day, and then
yeah.
at night, the weird thing, but Malaysia and Indonesia is similar. They have like parang a peg at the back of their neck, and then they pull it out, and then they become like
Oh my
harpies.
God.
Yeah, and then they like look for children to feed on, basically.
Yeah, it's the
There's so
La
many.
Llorona.
It's interesting that La Llorona has that. We have
Yeah.
Manananggal, and then the
But
neighboring countries have that.
Manananggal is pretty badass because
It's
she
pretty unique.
splits. She
The
splits.
guts are like hanging.
The guts are hanging.
Eyes, yeah.
And then
exactly.
are the wings bat wings, right?
Bat wings, yeah.
Bat wings. Oh
Huge
my
bat wings.
God.
And then the torso just like hangs out till she's ready to come back.
Yeah, and she's a corpse, right? She's a zombie in essence, I guess.
No, she's like a swang where she's a shapeshifter.
Oh, she's a shapeshifter.
So basically, when she's whole, she's a beautiful woman. Like she can entice you, whatever. But then at night, or when she chooses to, I guess it's mostly at night, then she splits and then she goes hunting.
Ah, okay. Well, anyway, before we go too much forward, I just wanna. I was surprised that you were involved in an animation kind of thing. So, were you like this? Were you into comics? Were you into anime?
I think
Because I
maybe
don't
not-
know.
Yeah.
You gave no indication before whatsoever that you liked any of this stuff. So
But I
don't
liked
know.
film. I always liked film when we were
Right.
growing up, basically, and I theater and all that stuff. So for me, that time, especially in high school, was trying to me figuring out what I wanted to do, and that kind of led me toward the path of film, and that at that time television. And I realized the thing I wanted to do was be a producer. And so that's why I worked in the Philippines, I worked in LA, and then when I came back home, which is more than 10 years ago now, my path basically then continued. So TRESÉ is just one of the projects I've been working on.
Okay.
I saw the graphic novel by Bajetan and Cacho Baldissimo in 2009, because I was home from LA, and as a producer, you're always looking for material to turn into film, to turn into
Right.
like a series, right? And at the time, I was also thinking, okay, I think I was about ready to kind of move back to Manila from having worked abroad for a while. And then so I cold called Budget. I'm like, but his number was given to me by a mutual friend who was in advertising. And I basically said, can we meet up? Because I'm really interested in your book, your comic, because I think it really has the potential to not just be, because the quality of the storytelling was great. It's a noir, it's a detective, plus it uses our mythological creatures in such a fresh way.
I haven't seen that that graphic novel. Is it in Tagalog?
No, it's in English.
Oh, it's in English. Oh,
You
okay.
can actually get it in the US now, either because there's a US publisher called The Blaze.
Oh,
So
is
it's
it?
on Amazon. It's called TRESÉ also.
Okay.
So, but the publisher is called The Blaze. You can get it on Comixology, like a digital copy on Comixology, or you can get like a hard copy via Amazon or your local comic book store.
Oh, cool.
So
no, I'll
they
go to the
should
comic
check out.
store.
Yeah. And if
because
they
you have
don't
to
have it,
because you
yeah.
have to show it to the guys. It's like, you
Yeah.
guys know this? This is
Yeah, yeah,
Filipino
yeah.
shit, you know?
And the art is beautiful, Wolf. You'd
Oh,
love
I
the
can. I
art.
know.
It's like amazing.
You can't. You don't. You don't even have to sell me on Filipino
Yeah.
animation. You know, Filipino
Yeah.
animation artists. My
Yeah.
good friend is one of them. I think he works for Disney. I'm sorry, Adrian, if I'm fucking that up, but he's a really good. That's what he does. He illustrates
Yeah.
for series. He's done Batman, Superman, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know, and even before, back in the 90s, we Wolfgang, we got involved with that Stone. You remember that?
Mm.
1998, I think. And
Mm.
Chill was there on the soundtrack, Wolfgang, and it was Will's Portacio, I think. That was his first,
Who put it together? Yeah.
yeah, Stone. And so, I mean, I've been surrounded by Filipino artists back then, still
Yeah.
in the 90s. And then that's when I saw when Stone happened. It's like, wow, this is really cool, man. This looks
Yeah.
like an American made it. And then, I meet the guys and they go, dude, you just have to look at the Superman comics and look at the artists. Those are all Filipinos, man. Yeah. So
There's a sort of tradition because Disney I think pulled in Filipinos like back in the day, like I think maybe even the 60s or 70s, pulled in Filipinos who are working in the Philippines to be part of their animation teams in the US. And those guys who migrated ended up also picking other Filipinos to join them for their team. So
Right,
Jay Oliva, who's the director, but he's Filipino, but he grew up in the States.
yeah.
He was hired by like a Filipino, like one of those comic artists that came over. So that's how he started his career.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Jay's actually directed a lot of pretty much all the Batman films that are animated. He's done Marvel, he's done DC. So he's got a
Wow.
pretty impressive resume.
Yeah.
And then to have him on the show was great. But the art of TRESÉ, the comic book, is actually very different. So, because you've seen the anime first, but the art
Right.
style is actually different.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
and it's black and white.
Yeah, actually, I saw your After Dark episode, and they were flashing, of the
Comic book,
graphic
yeah.
novel of the comic book. Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, that's Pinoy style, no? I know, I can recognize Pinoy style because I don't know, it's very no holds barred. It's so expressive. It's like, this is freedom. This is absolute freedom right here. Because like I said, my friend Adrian, his art, his animation is just like that. It's just in your face and jagged edges and sharp things and sharp bodies of monsters. I'm like, dude, it's aggressive stuff, man. So it's like, so to me, it's like, it's absolute freedom for an artist to just like, man, I'm gonna make this badass character, whatever. And if you don't like it, then too
Whatever.
bad, whatever.
Correct.
So yeah, so I mean, when I saw I first saw the trailer, and then the trailer, it was the MRT. I'm like, oh my god, it's like, I can't believe this. I'm gonna watch something on Netflix that involves an MRT,
Yeah.
and like friends were posting, like I had this one friend and she posted that that's the MRT station right across where my apartment is. I'm like, oh my god, this is really cool, and
Yeah.
and then when I saw, and actually I wanted to ask you, since we're here,
Yeah.
in the start of the first episode, I think there's it's a night shot of the city. It's all the city lights in the buildings. What part of Manila is that? I couldn't recognize it.
There's several city shots, but I think the one you're referring to, it's a little bit exaggerated. It's not the exact replica of the skyline, but it's definitely a distinctive area of it. But I think that one might have been a combination of a part of Manila but also fused with there's a part of Makati that kind of looks like that. So
Yeah.
there's, you know,
Oh, okay. So it's like combined and
it's a bit that one's a bit combined. Just because if you look at our skyline, like say you're on EDSA and you're going on the overpass,
yeah.
the one that's really lit up is say like by Rockwell.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
or if there's a spot kasi in Manila that has like you're not quite seeing Manila Bay, but you see some of the buildings and some of the houses. And if you go from above, it's lit up, but it's not full on.
Right.
So that shot for the impact was more like a combo.
A combo. Yeah, because we don't really have like a solid like New York City skyline.
It's not that concentrated. It's actually
Yeah,
spread out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and when you fly into Manila at night,
Right.
you'll
Yeah,
see
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot of lights. It's
Yeah.
just not like
It's not
that
one-
compressed. It's
yeah.
not compressed.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, when you go to like when you're coming into LA
Yeah.
in on the 101 north and you see downtown at night,
Yeah.
it's concentrated. So you say, oh yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have anything like that in Manila.
There are other shots where they do street level, and then you see like Makati, and it's like Legazpi Village. Like literally, I use that for my background
yeah.
sometimes on Zoom. Like you
yeah.
can tell if you like stop it, like all these Easter eggs, because it's a credit to Jay and Jojo Aguilar. Jojo Aguilar, also Filipino, the art director who determines the whole look.
Wow.
So when they came, we did, I made sure they had like a recce, like a field trip with all the places relevant to TRESÉ, because I know they didn't grow up in Manila. So I needed to kind of really introduce them to places and
So did they
details.
did they ever go to Manila to
Yeah, yeah.
research? Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
That
So
was
we
the
had
first time they went to Manila.
no.
Oh,
They've
no. Okay,
gone,
okay.
like they see family or what.
Yeah, but they don't know what it looks like. They don't know the.
They know, but they haven't been to like. I made them ride the MRT like from top to bottom, beginning to end.
Wow.
So during rush hour.
So were you guys like conceptualizing? Okay, this is where the zombies are gonna attack the.
There's a story. Budget has like a story called 13 Stations, and so there is a story that does have the MRT kind of going through. Which for me, I always thought that's the best way to introduce a city if you're you kind of have going through it, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it was really picking which stories to put together so that you could have this really interesting arc for Alexandra TRESÉ. We had the initial idea of like, okay, what stories would be good. So then we had a story summit with the two other writers, myself, and then Shanti Harmain, who's my producing partner, and she's from Indonesia. Then Jay and Jojo came over from LA. And part of that story summit was really taking them around Manila to the places that would be important. And they took a lot of pictures. And their art is so good that, the rendering of it, every time you freeze frame, I feel like it's like art you could hang on a wall or see in a gallery.
Yeah. I was just mesmerized with the whole look, the red and the black. The red and the black, I'm like, whoa, this is different. It's not red, because I like red and black. I really like that combination of colors. So it's like, wow, this is this is not it I don't know, for me, I'm just talking about my experience watching it. It's like it doesn't look Filipino, but it is so Filipino because it's Filipino, it's in Manila, no?
Yeah.
But the look, the rendering of it, there were no browns, there were not much dull colors that you actually see in Manila. Manila's, there are parts that are colorful, but most of the part it's gray and brown and just concrete is what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of concrete. And so putting the black and red, it gave that sinister underworld feel. Yeah, so like and then I have something to tell you about the first scene. It was the white lady was dead, right? Was she was dead, right? Or what? Yeah. On Balete Drive, right?
Correct.
And 13th Avenue, 13th Street.
Which doesn't really intersect, like...
Yeah, I know. You know how I know?
How do you know?
Okay. Balete Drive and 13th Street. That
Yeah.
I know that area, the Horseshoe
Yeah.
Village, diba?
Correct.
And then you go down to Balete, going to E. Rodriguez.
Correct.
The guitarist of Wolfgang, Manuel Legarda, he had a place in Balete Drive. That's where Wolfgang started,
Oh my
on that street.
gosh.
Wolfgang
Wow.
started on Balete Drive because Manuel's place was on Balete Drive, and we
Right.
used to practice in his garage,
Right.
And when I saw that scene, I sat up again. I know that place. That's where Wolfgang started. Holy shit, 13th Street and fucking Balete Drive. And yeah, I was like, I was like, I was like, okay tong concept na to, But yeah, that's the connection. So if any Wolfgang fans out there who want some juicy trivia, that's trivia right there. If you watch TRESÉ, it comes out on Balete Drive at 13th Street, and that's where Wolfgang started, on
Man,
Balete
even
Drive.
I didn't know that. That's so amazing.
Yeah. So
That's so amazing.
when we would finish practicing and it would be nighttime,
I was going to say.
I would be like so scared because before, at the start, when we started out, there was like one street light.
Yeah. That's why
Like
it was
that.
so scary on Balete before.
Yeah, there was one street light. I mean, I mean, along the as the years progressed, they added like the yellow, the
Yeah.
bright ones,
Yeah.
But when we were starting out and we would end at night, me and our bassist, who we didn't live there, so we had to leave. It's like, pare, sabay tayo ah. Sabay tayo pa uwi ah, kasi Balete Drive to.
Are you in your own car or separate cars?
We are separate cars. It's like,
Okay,
don't leave
that's
me,
when
man.
it's scary. Exactly. Kasi doon ka target ng white lady.
Yeah. I didn't want to drive there alone at night. Even if at that time we were in our early 20s. By that time you already know that's all myths and legends. But of course, it was
But
a
is
scary
it?
street with all the mango trees.
And yeah, and it's
And the
the
Balete
Philippines.
trees.
In the Philippines, we still say tabi-tabi po, even though maybe some might not believe it, but on the off chance, we
Yeah.
still say tabi-tabi po.
Oh my god, yeah. Especially like, I remember doing that. I had a trip to the Philippines and I went to this concert / campsite. So it was a campsite, and then it
There
was
was
a
a concert.
festival kind, but really
Cool.
micro. They have tents there. You just rent the tent, and then there's live music at night. And it was in the jungle. It was in a forest.
Oh
So
my
it was the
gosh.
property of someone owned that property, and they put up a show there.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it was still in the forest. So you're going through the forest, going to the restroom, going to the
At night,
the mess hall or whatever. Where are
Yeah.
you going from your tent? Tabi-tabi po. Tabi-tabi po.
Sunny
Just in case.
brought Mike Yuson with you, both to Balete Drive and to the.
My
my God.
Mike Yuson. Like,
Mike Yuson, I think that's the place for you.
have those guys seen TRESÉ? Have you
Yeah.
heard from them?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Mike, Sina Victor, I
Yeah,
think they've all
yeah.
seen it. So
Cool.
the only thing that's kind of hard releasing in the pandemic is that it feels surreal even to me because it's just taken so long for it to get here. But because when it launched, we were all kind of isolating, right? We're all
Right. Uh-huh.
not together. So it's different. I think it probably would feel more real if we could celebrate it in person with each other.
Oh,
But
yeah.
because it's all virtual, it just, like,
It's-
so hearing about it from you, from them, like that's the only way I get the feedback. Otherwise, it's like,
Yeah.
you're not sure.
There's no after party.
There's no after party. We had we zoomed with like the creators, the team, and the execs at like Netflix. We did a Zoom, just the launch, and like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we go to bed now.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good job.
Pat yourself on the back.
Right. And
That's
then
me. Imagine me patting you on the back. You know?
thanks. Yeah, exactly. But just like, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much everybody's social life is like that
Yeah.
nowadays. For the
Yeah.
for the last year at the very least. I mean, I know people who have developed um, social anxiety because they've been indoors too long.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like they're
wow.
scared to come out. I mean, I feel for them,
Yeah,
because
that's
because
hard.
because they're friendly people. They're really friendly social people. But the whole pandemic just, I guess, I don't know, it triggered something inside of them that wasn't somehow gives them anxiety nowadays.
Mm.
And actually, I can relate in a way, just to sidestep a bit.
Mm.
When um, the mask mandate here in California was still on, but
Mm.
most stores could open
Mm.
just as long as you wear a mask inside. That was the
Right.
rule at the time.
Which,
That was
by
the
the
rule.
way, I would still do. I would still do it, mandate or not. I'd still wear a
Oh, yeah,
mask
yeah,
in
yeah,
closed
yeah,
space.
yeah. But I mean, uh, uh, so I had been going to the we have an open air mall here, so it's
Mm.
open air. It's just stores, and then no roof, or I mean, there's
Yeah.
whatever. It's open air, and I would visit there after work every other day or every weekend, just to walk around, just
Mm.
to
Yeah.
just to be outside.
Yeah.
And the thing was, so it was still the height of the mask mandate, and the stores, most of the stores were still open, but there was no vaccines yet.
Mm.
But I had been vaccinated already because
You're a
I
health
work in the
worker.
I work in the health. I'm a health worker. I'm a caregiver. So my patient and we got to go in the front of the line.
That's so great.
Yeah, I know, I feel very fortunate. So
Totally.
I could go out already. I felt comfortable to go out. It's still in a mask,
Mm.
but walk around that open air mall.
Right.
And I would have the mall just to myself, and maybe I would, like, from end to end, maybe 20 people. That's how
Wow.
that's how
For a
empty the
mall,
store.
huh? Yeah.
For
It
a
must have
mall,
been.
for an
It might
American
as well.
mall.
It might just as well be you, because the 20 people in a
Yes,
big mall is
exactly.
like nobody, right?
Yeah, but the stores were open, that you could wear a mask
Ah,
inside. So I'd be like full service, because the store people were all bored to death because there was
of
nobody there.
course.
They
Of
were open.
course.
They had to still open anyway. But when when it I think when it reached an orange tier, that means that most people are, I mean, most of the elderly and most of the frontliners are almost done with their vaccines.
Right, right.
So the next part were already the adults,
Mm,
not
right.
the below 65,
Correct.
64 and below,
Correct.
64, and not kids, at the time.
Like 16, right? Or 18. Was it
18,
18
I
and
think
above,
18
right?
to
18
18,
above.
18 to 64. If
Yeah.
you're not a senior yet, you're in that tier. So once it reached orange, and the way the initial wave of vaccines here was amazing, man. It's just like
Yeah.
Disneyland, just lines of cars in Disneyland. They
Yeah,
made it
the
into
drive through. That's such a
yeah,
great idea.
I loved it. It's like it was so cool. It's like they turned Disneyland into a vaccine station. It's like,
That's
take
so
that, you
awesome.
anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse is on our side. you know. So anyway, but so when it reached orange tier, I visited that same mall, but now there were people.
Was it weird? It must have been weird though.
Vaccinated people. I was
Yeah.
assuming, okay, these people are getting vaccinated, so they're cool. We're cool. But so this thing, when you're in this outdoor mall, it's not like the indoor mall. Indoor malls are really big, so even if there are a lot of people, it's still loose.
Yeah.
Here in this outdoor mall, it's just one path in the middle of all the
Ah.
stores.
Oh
So that's
no.
where all the traffic
Oh
goes.
no.
All the people in that mall pass through that main avenue.
I can imagine.
Holy shit. I was like, when I got there at the top of the thing, There's still no people. It's the Apple store, right? Like, and then I look and like, holy shit, where do all these people come from?
Seriously.
I'm like,
Give me back my space, guys. Go
Yeah, I
away.
need
Give me
my
back my
space.
space.
and then I go, oh shit. Then I actually paused. I'm like, should I do this or just go home? Because I'm a homebody anyway. I can
Are
hang out.
you introvert, extrovert also?
Sort of, yeah.
Parang I
It's like if
discovered that about myself. Like, I'm actually okay chilling at home.
Oh, I'm so okay chilling at home because that's
Yeah.
how I was before I joined Antioch. Antioch was the one that brought me out of my room.
Yeah,
If
you're
not
like,
for
by the way,
Antioch,
you're also extrovert.
that's why I have a balance.
Right.
There are times I just want to just stay in my room and play video games and whatever, listen to records. And then there are times when I have to go to the mall and see people. I have to
Right.
see other human beings
Correct.
and hear people talking. And then here in California, it's all different languages.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm hearing Persian, I'm hearing Farsi, I'm hearing Chinese, I'm hearing Tagalog, I'm hearing Spanish, I'm hearing Portuguese, I'm hearing everything. So it's a trip.
Yeah.
But when I went through that wave, I call it not the wave, a river. It was a river of people when you
river.
go, and it's
Anxiety. Your anxiety
yeah.
was like, here I would be.
I started to because people would overtake you and go not bump. No one bumps each other here,
Right, right,
even if it's they'll cut you off if they see a Chinese. It's like Filipino traffic without bumping into each other. And then that's when I started like, whoa! I started feeling anxiety. It's like
Imagine.
I've never felt like this in a crowd because I'm a concert goer here in the States.
Right.
If you go to a concert here, it's crowds.
Yeah, you're like, everyone's in your space. Right?
Everyone's in your space, and going to the concert and coming out of the concert.
Oh yeah, the traffic.
It's the traffic, the
The
people.
traffic's so bad.
Oh my god! If you're like an introvert, you cannot go to concerts, man.
No.
I mean, here in America, no way, man. You'll freak out.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I feeling like this when I'm used to this?
Yeah.
I'm used to this. I'm used to crowds and whatever. So I guess I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into the Adidas store and take a breath.
Good idea.
And then just window shop and just let it. And then before, so I did that, kind of relaxed, and then I walk out, and then I see the people from the store. So you see the traffic just nonstop
From the
people.
inside, yeah.
From the inside, right? So there's one way going here, and then the other way going and on the other way, and then
fish in an aquarium, going back and forth.
Exactly, it's exactly like that. And in the middle of the aisle are seats, are chairs where people, old
You
people
can
can sit
rest.
down, you can rest
Right.
or hang out in the middle. And I was like, oh my god, I think it's time to go home. So it's like I really that day I was like, man, this is like shock to the system because for a year, no crowds.
Yeah. Just listening to you, I can imagine parang I'm feeling anxiety.
Yeah.
To like just plunge into something you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
After being so used to having all that space, it's kind of anxiety.
And I mean, since you're into film, let's get into film later. Those scenes when the character is like confused and all that, everything's like coming and going.
Right.
It looked like that to me. That's why I got scared. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, I couldn't focus. I would see, I can still see it in my mind. I see this couple really holding hands with their kid, but walking really fast. They were in a hurry or something, So that stressed me out. It's like, calm down, man. Why
you might hit something. You have a kid.
Yeah, it's like calm. I wanted to shout and stop.
Right.
It's like everybody slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. It's like
I feel you. I understand that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was like, let's just go home and chill out and whatever. But then after multiple returns to the same mall, it's a nice place to hang out and see people.
Yeah.
So I just got used to it again. So I'm just used to crowds again. I'm used to the noise, like I said, the languages I hear. I mean, it's amazing, you know, and it's like now, since I wasn't exposed to that for like at least a year.
Yeah.
It's like I have a deeper appreciation now of my surroundings. It's like you just like take a millisecond more just to take it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just glancing around, but then you see something nice, and you're like, okay, it's cool, man. And then try to put it in your memory, whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Well, you're an artist also, so I feel like you would pick up anyway on stimuli, right? Because that's how you process it, that's how you funnel it, channel it to your art. So
right.
it probably just heightens your artistic tendencies for that, which is amazing. Because then we can actually process it and take a breath and like really be in the moment for that particular thing.
Yeah. Whereas before, we would just take it for granted.
Right. It's part of
You say, "Oh, that's
you
cool,"
just
and
go
then
through-
that's cool. You say, "Oh, that's cool," and then, "Oh no, that's cool too." Oh, and then that's cool. It's like ADD. It's like now I had so much time on my hands. I mean, the ADD kind of settled
calm down a bit. Yeah.
It calmed down a bit, you know, because you're not. I mean, there's still a lot of stimuli with online,
Right.
with playing records, but then I would balance it out. It's like, okay, I'm gonna stop watching TV. I'm just gonna put a record on and
Yeah.
listen, you know, and then I'll watch TV again later. So it's not too much.
Yeah.
You know.
Di kaya 'cause we're older.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, my friend, she was having a conversation with her daughter, who was I think 9 years old, and then her older daughter is like 13 or 14,
Okay.
and she's a musician, so she'll perform her songs on YouTube like this, with a mic like this and a acoustic
Right.
guitar.
Right.
And then she'll
Amazing.
tell, yeah, yeah, I want to
So
get into
amazing.
that too. It's like so she would tell a story about the song, whatever, the genesis and whatever, you know, trivia. And then her daughter told her, it's like, "Mom, you talk too much." You know?
No.
Yeah. And that's a 9-year-old. And 9-year-old,
Yeah.
they're honest. That's
Yeah.
That's straight up.
No filter. Totally.
That's straight up truth, 100%, you know? It's like, "Mom, you talk too much." So he goes, "What do you mean? You're telling too many things. No one's listening." This is from a 9-year-old. And then I think the more mature daughter, the 14-year-old, is like, "Yeah, if you go beyond like some really short time, everyone's gonna tune out and just press, you know, next." You know?
Next.
So that's the world we're living in now.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, how we grew up with analog, plus our generation bridged analog to digital, but
Yeah.
we also grew up with like appointment TV, and now everything's on demand, and now
Yeah.
content is actually, you know, when I talk to kids in the universities, and the kids in the universities are still our kids, right, at this point of where we are.
Yeah.
They don't want to be like filmmakers per se. They want to be content creators. Like that's how they see where they're at. So I totally understand that shift for this generation.
It's weird. But then looking out, this is my observation with all of that. They're seeing, since there's so much stimuli happening, because I'm on Instagram, and oh my god,
Too much.
if you want to know if you want to know a person, you check their Instagram. That's them, because everything in the world is there. You can follow anything that your heart desires on
That's
Instagram.
true. That's true.
You know what I mean? So, and it's very telling. But
minus a lot of food shots.
yeah, anything and anything.
Like, oh, what does that say about me?
Yeah. Well, me too. I mean, I follow food shots too. Who doesn't? I mean,
Right.
you look at a food shot and like, man, this is so good. Makes you hungry. And
Exactly.
man, stoner, you know, I get hungry.
So you
when I
need
see
that.
food shots like that. You know, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta stop looking at shit.
You're like,
Anyway, so-
I need that in my fridge.
So I think the generation now, I think they're just a little careless with getting carried away with the instant fame of it. And I understand because I'm doing podcasts, so I have to promote myself.
Right, right, right.
And I'm not a young dude. I'm bald. It's like, come on. Who's gonna who?
You have
That.
fans. I mean, you're already
No, I know.
established. You're coming at it already from a different perspective. You're not on it to seek fame.
Right.
You're actually for me, you're just doing it as an artist, kind of
Oh yeah.
just sharing your art in
Yeah,
your perspective.
that's
Although
actually. Oh, so go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say the interesting thing about the pandemic is where you had sort of influencers, let's say the Kardashian era, right? I feel like in the pandemic, it shifted because nobody wants to, it doesn't ring true to have that lifestyle, that aspirational lifestyle, which feels very superficial
Right.
and just about appearance. I feel like, especially my nieces, like Nikki's kids who are like 13 and 10, they're actually, they're very tuned into like Greta Thunberg because she's close to their age.
Yeah.
Like causes like allies to be, or the whole LGBTQ plus community and being allies, or Black Lives Matter. Like
Yeah.
it is interesting for me, like that's what they pick up, even though they're in the Philippines. But the whole, so that era of Insta fame, but on the lifestyle feeling in the pandemic, that kind of got pushed to the side a bit.
Yeah.
But the young people are still searching. Parang it's hard for them to get a grasp of who they are because they're not doing face to face
They're not
interpersonal stuff. Yeah, they're not out. And
Yeah.
like when we grew up, we took that for granted. We saw each other every day in church,
Yeah.
basically, and like
You know-
it was
you know-
just we didn't realize, but that was forming who we were.
You're right.
And now it's like so difficult for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can only imagine, right? It's like I predict. Okay, when everything is really back to normal and school is, I mean, in the fall, everyone's going back to school unless these unvaxxed people start getting sick and sick and sick and sick because it's on the rise right now.
Yeah, and the variants morph because the variants morph in asymptomatic people who are not vaccinated, basically.
Yeah.
So Delta, there's like a Gamma one that's on the rise from
Gamma.
Peru.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're going to become Incredible Hulk with
I
the
was
Gamma.
going to say, but not in a good way.
Not in a good
It's
way.
Gamma, but not in a good way.
Not in a very
Yeah.
bad way.
Yeah.
And
So
the
I
thing
don't
is-
know.
Oh.
I don't know when. It never goes back to how it was, for sure. So
No.
what even is normal? Like we won't even know. It's totally a different thing, right?
And the thing is, another thing is what I'm scared of is, or well, not really scared, but I'm anticipating this. When these kids go back in the fall, if they get this variant thing under control, if they convince people who are unvaxxed, it's like you got to do this already. Okay? It's like you have to save everybody. You can't you can't do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's like when they go back to school, especially high school, junior high, and they see people again, they see the opposite sex again or the same sex again. I am anticipating a baby boom.
Oh my God. Really?
I am. Think about it.
Possible.
Either that or the opposite. That
Yeah.
they don't know how to interact because they did not interact for one whole year. And they grew up during this year.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about puberty and then teenagers, 1 year of growing up is
It's a
a
lot.
lot.
It's a lot.
It's a
But also,
lot.
you're teaching kids, okay, you have to be careful who's in your surrounding area because they may or may not be
Yeah.
infected and or vaccinated.
Yeah.
So I was joking with somebody, like, all those people on the Grinder and Tinder sites, they can't meet up. They have to have actual conversations.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
it's got to be deep conversations.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's a thing now to put in your profile, vaccinated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
It's normal. It's like it's really the fault of the last president. He made it political. I don't want to say his name, but everybody knows what he did.
Right.
He made it political. He turned it into a political weapon. which it wasn't supposed to be a political weapon.
I mean, it's pretty much saving lives. I mean, for me, anyone that impedes sort of people not looking after the public welfare in terms of health in any country right now because it's a pandemic, but even in general, but it's almost like a war crime to me because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
basically condemning people to death. And if worse, if it's like have and have nots and the ones who aren't able to access vaccines, like
Yeah.
that's hard already too.
If you
So,
can, if something happened to you and you went to a lawyer, it's like, can I sue the last president for this? They gave me they said that this was nothing, but my father died of it, and he believed that. And these are true stories.
oh really?
These are true stories.
Wow.
This is
Okay.
a true story. I remember it was and he was a Latino man,
Hmm.
and he believed he was the supporter of the president, and he believed everything he said.
Oh
That
no.
it's nothing. We're gonna do this. Just pray, whatever. He died,
Oh, that's so sad.
and the son was like, my father. He believed you. He believed him.
Yeah.
So my point is, if I went to a lawyer and I asked the lawyer, can I sue that guy for misinforming my father and leading him to believe that a disease, a virus, was harmless to him when it was not? I'm sure
Right.
the lawyers like, yeah, we got a case. Of course we got a case. There's a case. I mean, in plain English, there's a case already. There's something to argue about there. So I mean, it's just. And now they put LA yesterday or today they put LA again, mask indoors.
Yeah, by Saturday or Sunday, right? For your time. Like
No,
which I think
today. No,
today.
now.
Ah, okay,
Not
good.
yet, right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's smart. Even for me going forward when travel becomes like, because I usually travel for work if I have to.
Yeah.
Even on a plane, vaccinated, let's say herd immunity, I'm still going to be wearing a mask for
Yeah.
the majority of the time. I mean, Japan and Korea, like they had it right in terms of like when you see them on the subways with it. Now I'm like, oh, it makes sense.
It makes
Like,
sense.
you never know what's going to be around the corner, and it's not being paranoid. I
No.
haven't had the flu in like a year and a half
Yeah. Yeah.
because you wear masks when you go outside.
And it's an actual statistic here that the flu has
really gone down.
really gone down.
And I used to like get the flu like occasion, enough where you notice like, okay, why do I have the flu again? But
Yeah.
now I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing a mask in crowded places,
Yeah,
in
because
travel
you-
situations.
The flu is
Yeah.
just, it only takes one.
Yeah, exactly.
You were probably not the only one who got sick. There were probably 10
Right.
other people who got sick too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. If you traced
Yeah.
it back. So I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so crazy. Like, and I thought to myself, why didn't I do this sooner? I had no awareness of it. I had no idea of how that worked. No, but now I'm like, even if there's a mask, I would still wear a mask in like a crowded place.
In a
I
crowded
would do
place, especially if it was the subway or
Yeah.
a crowded subway,
Yeah.
the bus,
Yeah.
a bus.
Even a concert, going back to
Oh,
concerts.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
would probably wear a mask for a
Yeah.
concert or like even like a film theater. I would wear a mask.
Yeah. I don't know if I would wear a mask. If it was a concert, I might wear a shield instead.
Oh,
Because I scream. I scream in concerts, and I can't scream in a mask.
but maybe the masks will evolve. Like 'cause right now it's surgical, right? And now people are doing fashion masks. But I'm like, where's the functional mask? I know, like an anesthesiologist, she has like a silicone mask, and then they have like an air pump that fits through.
Oh,
So then you get that circulation. So I'm like,
so
okay,
it
it's a
doesn't
bit.
fog up and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, okay,
That's-
there's
Well,
going to be
actually,
an evolution.
Yeah, I actually saw a person wearing a transparent mask.
That's weird, though. I feel like that's very.
weird. I was like, whoa, what's that? Okay.
It's like Hannibal Lecter weirdness. It's like a transparent.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of films now, let's go back to TRESÉ later. One thing I've been doing since the mask mandate was lifted and the theaters opened up again, which was already a month, I think. Yeah, I think 4 weeks already. Is that one of the activities that my patient likes to do is go to the theater,
Oh, nice.
watch
Okay.
a movie in the theater.
Right.
Because older generation, that's what you do. You go to the movies. And so we would, if there was something good, we would watch it. Man, we watched this independent film that was so boring. Oh my!
Oh no.
It was an Oscar. I don't know if you Nomadland.
Yes, it won, right?
Oh, did it win?
It win.
Oh,
It won. It won. It won.
It win. It won.
It won.
Uh,
But I actually
it
haven't
was
seen it because I wasn't able to watch it here. So,
it
but it
was
won.
good. It was good. I liked the concept. It was real. Some of the people there were real people. Um, I mean, actual people, not actors. Um, it was shot great. It was very real, man. It was so real. I mean, independent film. It just doesn't get
Yeah.
any more real than an independent film. So it was like really, not naman depressing, but I mean, that's her life. That's the life.
Yeah, depressing.
Like,
But you might not have been in the mood for a film like that at that time. Maybe when you watched it, no?
no, well, no. I was like, I know the concept. I'm cool with it, but I was like, half
It's
of my
not.
brain,
Yeah.
half of my brain was thinking about my patient. I was like,
Yeah.
do you get what's happening? So like, no.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Oh no.
yeah, but I mean, she was just enjoying being in the theater, And
So
but
she
my
didn't
point,
mind just kind of watching, even though she
Yeah.
wasn't really connecting with it, with the
Yeah.
film.
no, not at all. I mean, because it was, I mean, even I was like, oh my god, this is kind of
Yeah.
really bleak, a bleak life, a bleak, a glimpse at a bleak life, and
Which might be too real given the pandemic.
oh my god, it was
Maybe
so
not
real.
the right film in your frame of mind at the
But
moment.
then the other part of that movie is that since those guys are nomads, they're not homeless. These are people who have homes,
Yeah.
but they have wanderlust. So
They just want
have
to go.
They just
Yeah.
want to go. And I understand with a country like the States, you can just go.
Yeah, there's so much space. There's so much
You can
road.
drive from LA to New York. You can actually
Yeah.
drive.
Right.
And
Correct.
just go through all these cities that you just hear their names and then you can actually see them, That's one thing that I really like about America. There's a lot of things I don't like about it, but the things that I like about it, the basic stuff, that it's a wonderful looking country to begin with. Oh my god. Just here in my place here in Orange County, you go west, it's the beach. You go east, it's the mountains, and it snows.
Nice. Yeah.
And then you have a high desert like Joshua Tree.
Which is so near you, no?
2
Near
hours.
you, or
Yeah,
2
I mean,
hours. That's not bad.
In the grand scheme of things, that's not bad at all. 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an unbelievable place. But my point is that
Theater.
the theater, since everyone was still wary of going to the theater, the
Right.
theater was empty.
So nice.
It was just me and my patient there in the middle of the theater watching like THX movies. We watched the F9,
What did you watch?
the last Fast and the
Oh my
Furious.
God! Did she like it? Did your patient like
Oh,
it? Is your patient a senior patient? or
Yeah,
no?
she's 86.
She liked Fast 9.
Well, I was like, she's forgetful. That's her issue.
Okay.
So
got it.
I have to explain to her, okay, we're gonna watch this kind of a movie. It's an action movie. Are you okay with action movies? And then I go, what's it like? Well, it's like James Bond. Oh, I like James Bond. Okay, then we're good. It's nothing like James Bond.
It's really not.
Yeah.
You sold
But I
her
have
a
to give-
false bill of
But I have to
goods.
give her a description so she'll be okay. Okay. And of course, I don't know what to expect. F9. This is like with the Fast and Furious series. You don't know what the next one's
Yeah.
going to be like because they have to top the last one, right?
Correct.
So this one, if you ever get a chance to see it, you have to see it in the theater. You
Parang
can't.
nga.
The
Yeah, I don't think it's
sound-
like. Yeah,
It has to be the sound system of a theater,
Yeah.
not the home sound system. It
for
won't
sure.
make it. Oh my god, the stuff
Sayang.
that these people were doing with cars. I'm like, oh, that's like, oh my. And then I would look. Are you okay? I would ask her, it's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay with the action?" I was like, and she'd be like, "What's happening?"
Kawawa naman. Kawawa
No, because
naman.
because Fast and Furious, you're not there for the story.
No.
You're there
Although
for the. I mean, the story's great,
it's
and the
tight
story
enough. Yeah, it's
it's
tight
easy
enough.
enough to digest, right?
Correct, correct.
But you're there for the cars
For sure.
and the
And all the
stunts,
stunts.
and how are they gonna pull this off? It's like it's like, how are they gonna go after, you know, the last one when Paul Walker died, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the last one, no? And then, they had a choice to end it because he died. And they go, no. And then Vin Diesel's like, no, man, let's do it. Let's just go for it and then make it just bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh my God. I mean, I have never seen an action movie like this before. I mean, Tom Cruise has his work cut out for him to do a next Mission Impossible. I mean, because
I mean,
this
he already broke his ankle in the last Mission Impossible.
Oh
It
my
hasn't
God!
even been released.
I am a huge fan of Tom Cruise. I mean, he's weird as f.
Yeah, but he really delivers on those like crazy death-defying stunts. Like he
Grabe
totally
siya.
delivers on those.
He's
Sobra.
crazy.
Ibang level.
Ibang level siya. I mean, he earns his money. He earns his money,
I mean,
man.
he's piloting his own, he's piloting his own helicopters.
The
for
helicopter, yeah.
stunts. I'm like, oh my God. He drove the car in Morocco. Grabe.
Oh yeah, the car. Oh my God! And then he did. Do you? We're all over the place with film, but
Yeah.
do you remember that scene? Not the last one, but the second to the last. MI, where they're in China and he runs. He just sprints that
Yeah.
whole market.
Yeah. And they did
With
that thing so many times. Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is nuts, but hell, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
It
Totally.
just like it looks like. I guess in his head, it's like, would it look cool if I just ran? you know, and then and then they would shoot it. It's like, let's shoot it, and then everyone probably was thinking, God damn, it looks cool.
No, he trained for that. He trained for that actually.
Wow.
You know that
For
run?
That run?
Yeah, he trained for that run.
Wow. Yeah, because it was like perfect form.
Yeah, he built that sprint and then he built that run. Like that wasn't accidental. Like he trained for that run.
Oh my gosh. And then at the end of the run, he turns right. So he still turns and runs.
Yeah. And how many takes did they do that for? I'm like, how's he not
Oh.
exhausted?
Oh my gosh, he's crazy, man. So anyway, so like I said, we were watching movies in empty theaters. And
That's so great.
It was so great.
Yeah.
We saw
It's kind of fun.
we saw Cruella. Oh man.
Ooh. Was it good?
It's so good.
I need to see it.
It's so good.
That's awesome.
I mean, the only like I posted, it's like the only thing Disney about Cruella is the logo of Disney in the front.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's so.
Otherwise, it's badass.
Yeah, my old boss produced that, and
Oh,
she's really
really?
good. Yeah, she's really
his
good.
name?
So her name's Kristen. Kristen
her
Burr.
name. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kristen what?
Burr, Burr.
Kristen Burr.
Yeah, so she's a producer on that film.
Grabe. I mean, the soundtrack was so awesome because it's all classic rock songs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
So for sure you can totally relate.
So of course, the first song comes on. I recognize it, like, okay, this is I like who chose the music. It better be, and then the next songs come and it's all rock and like, okay, this is cool. But even the way they approached it, that she turned out, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of films nowadays, it's like the villain is the good guy. It's like not in the sense of the actual script and the actual what happens in the story, but you feel for him, you feel for or her, or, if you feel like Cruella. I'm a fan of Cruella, but she's Cruella. She was cruel to the dogs,
Right, exactly. You want to see the other side, but then sometimes the choices they make, you're still the villain, basically.
Yeah, you're still the villain, but somehow, gosh, I like Cruella. I think she's cool. I think she was fighting for what she believes in, which is the part that I like. I know that this character was mean to the dogs, right? She was mean to the Dalmatians,
Right.
The tormentor or whatever, to the puppies. But in this movie, I was like, you go, girl, man. Yeah, they messed with you, so you mess back.
Right.
You know, it's very timely for for the Me Too movement too, to have a movie like this. It's like, yeah,
Mm,
it's like these people screwed with my family. I'm fighting back. So,
right.
and it's like I'm actually glad that I feel comfortable in seeing that. You know what I mean? A woman asserting herself just because she has to and because she
Right.
wants to. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't care what people say. I'm fighting back.
Right. Right.
Excuse my language. I'm like that. I'm a potty mouth.
It's okay.
Um, so a phenomenon that I wanted to talk to you about is that all these movies on Netflix, especially Netflix,
Mm.
got 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 popular during the pandemic. What was your thing? It's like mine. My number one was Queen's Gambit.
So good, right? That
You
series
remember
is
that
so
one,
good. Totally love Queen's Gambit.
man? So I mean, how about on your end? What you were binging? I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also part of my job.
All right, right. Yeah.
But I mean, just for enjoyment, actually, what I really like is Korean dramas. They're actually very good.
Mm,
So, and there are a few you can watch in the US. I don't know. I mean, even if you're not a fan of, say, romance as a genre, they have other great mystery and crime thrillers that are interesting. And on Netflix, I know Tunnel is on there, and they've got English subs.
was that the series? Are
It's a
these?
series. It's a series,
Okay.
and it's in Stranger, which is another crime one. If and it's really cool because it's really closer to. It's great storytelling for one, but it's not so you can easily like get into it because actually there are some tropes from Western storytelling as well in there.
Right.
But
Yeah.
from having grown up in the Philippines, it's really interesting to see it from a very Asian perspective
Right.
that you can relate to as
Yeah.
well. So for me, and if you like romance, they have like all those choices. But actually, their storytelling is quite clear, and it's always entertaining. There's never
mean-
like parang it's like, oh no, we're too cool for you. It's never that. So
Yeah.
it's quite good.
Yeah. I mean, the two best films in the past 5 years are Korean, right?
Yeah.
The last one, this last one is Korean. The best film is Korean, right? And
Minari.
then
Well, it's more
Minari-
American, but it's more American because the guy Lee Isaac Chung, and I saw
Uh-huh.
Minari in Sundance when it first premiered, and then it won. It was the year Parasite won the Oscar. So it's basically the American dream from a Korean
Perspective.
immigrant perspective. But it's
Right.
basically the American dream.
Oh, okay.
But
See
you
that?
should watch Train to Busan. Have you seen Train to
Oh
Busan?
yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's like that, right?
Yes.
It's just like
Grabe
Fast
sila.
and the Furious, but
But yeah.
but
I mean-
Asian with all the Asian kind of dynamics in there. So,
And when I saw Train to Busan, I was like, wow, Koreans, man, they are. I mean, Filipino filmmakers are good, but fuck. I mean, part
yeah,
of,
it took time for them to get there.
yeah, but I mean, their
there's
level-
another one. There's another one. I'll message you what it is, but there's another one that's funny that I think you'd really like. Like I think the guys would love.
Uh-huh.
Shoot. It's about basically this group of cops that are trying to track this mafia gang who's very elusive, but to do it, they have to stake out their building from a fried chicken shop. And for them to keep their cover, they have to run a fried chicken restaurant.
Oh my God, it's Korean.
hilarious.
Is this correct? Korean?
It's hilarious. It's so funny, Wolf.
I noticed that you were a writer also in the show in TRESÉ.
Yes.
So that's one of my frustrations is writing.
Really?
I write essay form.
Okay.
I know how to articulate my thoughts,
Right.
but to come up with an original story is a challenge for me. It's a real challenge, man. Especially ending a story or coming up with a conflict. The conflict of the story.
Right.
I have no idea. I have no idea where to start. So when I saw you as a writer, like, "Uy, she writes the thing. So she writes stories. So where when did that start?
Well, first of all, I love listening to stories and watching film, which I'm sure, you are the same, right? And that's
Yeah,
why you
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of love stories. And in your case, I don't know if it's the same with music for certain songs, whether, sometimes like the ones that tell stories more, or they're just more capturing the snapshot. It just depends. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
Depend. Yeah.
me, it started with that and just consuming a lot of that just because I really enjoyed it. And so then when I embarked on the journey to become a producer, part of that is helping other people, make the core of their stories sort of the best version it can be. And part of that is identifying who you want to connect with the audience. That's something that I learned. I didn't start out with like, oh, I'm such, like writing is all I want to do. Like it for me, it was like I appreciated it first, and learn to appreciate also, like, the different kinds of it, the genres of it. And then as a producer working with writers and
Yeah.
directors, it's like, learning how they do their process, where it comes from, and how to make their stories better in a way, like with the same vision where you're not putting your own ego in it as
Uh-huh.
well.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So actually, this is the first credit I have as a writer. But in truth, working with other writers, because you're helping to shape the story, in a way, you're kind of practicing that craft. You're practicing the craft of, building a story from scratch. And the
Yeah.
thing with film and with series, it's actually quite a collaborative medium. So you're not doing it in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Some people prefer that. Some people just want to write on their own and put it in there. But because I'm a producer, for me, it makes it less scary when you're not doing it in a vacuum.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I get that. I get that because I'm a band member. I'm not a
Exactly.
solo artist.
Correct,
I
right?
need other people's ideas to build on, because in my mind it's like I have an idea, but then I don't. Ah, gosh, I got the start, but I got the end. I don't have the middle. I can't
Right.
find the middle. And this guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, I have a middle," and then there we go.
Yeah. And
So
there's
I guess.
magic, right? Where it kind of
Ah,
comes together.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the thing for me that I needed to build was the confidence that I could do it and put my name on it. So that took a while, but my producing partner, Shanti, she's like, no, you should just write on it. You know how you can do it. You should just do it.
So wait a minute. So the comic came out, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't write on the comic
No,
for
no,
the comic,
no.
right?
No,
So
Budget, yeah, Budget
those
and Kajo. Like Budget is the writer for the comic and came up with
okay,
the idea.
right.
And then Kajo is the illustrator. And together they actually, it's like you
What's
said, it's
Gajo's name?
Kajo. So
Kajo.
Kajo, where it's Kajo, it's
What's his last name?
Baldissimo.
Baldissimo. They're the
Yeah.
creators.
They're the creators. So Budget Tan, Kajo
Cool,
Baldissimo.
man.
Yeah.
It's like now. It's like it's so cool that like when those like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, they had those the after party shows. When they discuss they nerd out on the episode.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they sometimes the creators of the show are there, and then sometimes they're a duo.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like now we have our own. We have our own, because when I saw that After Dark episode of you guys, I'm like, we have our own. It's like
I know, right?
Filipinos always have their own. They get influenced by America or whatever, or Europe, and we make our own with our own culture. So it's not really copying anybody, because we're just
No, no. And this
yeah.
this one was really like the after show, like TRESÉ After Dark. Like there's such a great team right now in Netflix marketing that is covering the Philippines. So
Wow, yeah, so cool.
you know,
Where was
so
that?
there.
Where was that shot?
So that was shot in Manila. So Kre Marin, who is like, she does the social media, but she came up with this idea where initially it was just going to be, some part of like the campaign, right? But then the idea was so good that they decided, no, we should put it on Netflix. And that was basically to do TRESÉ After Dark,
And yeah, aim
which
high,
is the
man.
show. And wow, like, it's it's something that they did from beginning to end, and it was just amazing to watch. And parang like me, I was like, when she told me that, I was like almost crying. I was like, oh my god, that's so
Yeah.
amazing that you got this through. And she's like, I know, I can't believe it myself, but we were just parang we had to take a moment and be like, there's gonna be an after show on Netflix.
Dude, I
How
was so
crazy
proud.
is that?
I was so proud. I was so proud when I saw you, and then all those guys, and the what's her name, the young actress?
Yeah, it's Eliza, and she's
Yeah,
really
Liza.
nice. She's
Yeah,
really nice.
yeah. She's like really. She's like she grew up here, right, or something. Her
Yeah,
childhood was here in the
yeah, but she
States.
actually moved to the Philippines when she was like 10, parang ganun eh.
Ah, okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
for an American kid, you're
No,
0 to 9 is a lot. You're American, you know.
yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
But then she, she's, sometimes more Filipino like
oh yeah, yeah, of
than
course.
us who kind of spent most of our lives here.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Because of her work, she has to go out to these places to shoot, and
yeah. What I really like about her is she's very sincere. And actually, very, I think she's really matapang eh. Like, you think she's going to be
right.
mahinhin or
Uh-huh.
because her voice and, she's an actress, but actually she's quite matapang. So
No,
that's
yeah,
also
she was.
one of the reasons why we were like, she has that quality. Now, if it was just because she was famous, but it wasn't a fit, I know. What I like is
Oh,
like
yeah.
you underestimate someone and then they can deliver. Like I really love that. And I think she
There,
really did.
yeah, she's awesome. I mean, there really has to be an alternative, creative world that's coming out of the Philippines, and not just the one that's always there is the showbiz one.
Yeah.
It's always there because they have a lot of money. That's great, cool. At least meron, di ba?
Yeah, for sure.
But there has to be an opposite one. Like one of my interviews for the new season is with Raymond Red, the director, and he's like independent to the bone, and he always has to depend on a facilitator, or to budget the whatever project. So, and he's very what you call, he doesn't, he eventually will stream his films, but as he's really holding on to he wants to show them all in the theater one last time before he puts it on streaming.
Okay, that's
Because
interesting. That's good.
yeah, so that's what's, if you listen to his interview when it comes out, that's what I go, what are you gonna do when everything goes back to to working again, not normal but working again? And he goes, well, I want to show my films in the theater again, and then I'll probably put them on the internet because I can't be a dinosaur forever, So that kind of, that's what I mean by alternative. That guy Raymond Red, you guys doing animation. I mean, animation is so rebellious for me. I can see the rebellious of animation was always to me rebellious, because you can get away with so much in cartoons. You can get away with violence and it looks funny because it's cartoons. You can get away with, Daffy Duck getting his beak slapped off. If that was in, like real life, that would be so violent, can't. So there has to be that side of in the Philippines, and
Yeah.
I'm glad.
But we have that, but the thing actually that we need more for an industry or an art form to thrive, and it's the same thing for the music scene, is we need a good ecosystem between audience and artists, and it's a business. For it to thrive, it has to kind of be an industry and a business.
An industry, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely we have great filmmakers, and lately a lot of them have been doing like the festival rounds, and that's fantastic because it gets the recognition.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think what we're lacking is really building on what the industry could be and should be, so that you don't have to rely on government handouts or grants. You're
Right.
actually creating stuff that people, remember the heyday of like Filipino music. Like, remember, like, even the bands, like Wolfgang or The Dawn or whoever, it's like people
Yeah.
wanted it. People
Yeah,
bought the
there was
albums.
there was an industry.
There was an industry. And
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be that same way for film,
Yeah.
where, you're not saying pang masa lang yan or whatever. Parang walang ganun kasi lahat-lahat naman tayo Pinoy,
It's all
right?
film. It's all under
all
one.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of have to work harder to service the audience. For me,
Right.
I feel like that's where it is. And when you build an ecosystem that is healthy, you don't have to rely on handouts or someone helping you. There's no
Yeah.
cult of personality.
Yeah.
There is just that, connection between audience and industry in that same way, where you're not making stuff because you think, ganito lang sila, we're gonna dumb it down because then that gets us more money. For me,
Exactly.
that's disrespect.
Exactly. That is total disrespect. If you
If you
pander,
totally.
yeah. If you pander to your assuming them to be stupid,
Correct.
oh my God, that's total disrespect, man.
Total disrespect. Everyone watches everything from Marvel to Korean to Japanese to there's no only Filipino. That's the thing also with the internet. It's like, and to an extent piracy, but in that same way, piracy also hurts us, the Philippine creatives in terms of getting on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
Right, in terms of that platform. But the thing we really have to fix, and I've been talking to some people, it's not an overnight fix, but it's more a build.
Well, the Philippines is not an overnight fix.
That's true. We know this.
Yeah, so everything in it is just as slow as the country, So I don't know. I think Philippine cinema, just like how it was in the 90s during our era, where we really made an impact to that generation, because there was a generation after us, a younger one, and they had their group of bands like Greyhounds, Slapshot, and Cheese, Queso.
Right.
After that, it just waned and waned and waned. And so now there's still popular bands like Ace of Spades, Four of Spades. They're really popular, no? But I don't see their alter ego, the other band that is the opposite. Like the E-Heads, like before, the E-Heads were so popular. But then you had Wolfgang, who was lurking in the shadows. Just as popular, but in the shadows,
Yeah.
So there's that. So then you could see the dynamics of the Filipino young person during that time. For let's say,
Go ahead.
So like let's say 10 years from 1991 to 2001, that decade was like, I could see from my point of view from the drum set, I could see a culture forming and morphing and just changing and then disappearing.
I know.
When the younger generations came up, it just disappeared. It's like, where are the bands? What happened to all the bands? And then I see Four of Spades. It's like, Four of Spades, that's it,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think people it's because you guys would gig, you guys would perform.
Yeah.
And I think at some point that kind of declined. But then that should have been bigger heads thinking in terms of how do you build to crossover, because say if you're playing to a younger crowd that then at some point they had to work now, or they got caught up with family and lives, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So then it should have been sort of bigger picture thinking of well, how do you nurture the next generation, or what's the trend and where do we go? Because that's really building the industry. So in a way, that's kind of the discussion now. And for cinema, I've been on a couple of panels, my takeaway is maybe we're setting roots for something we don't see in our lifetime, but it needs to start. Otherwise, it never happens.
Oh, yeah,
I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same for music also. Because also, I wonder, where are all our acts? Where are all our,
There are no more acts.
Yeah, where, and maybe acts is such an old-fashioned word for the kids, right?
Yeah. What would it be? Oh my God! What's their what's their flex? That's the word.
Yeah,
flex.
yeah. Parang, there
What's
were
your
so
flex,
many
right?
cool Filipino songs, and not just the Gary V's of the world. Yeah, there's that, but parang even even when Sinachino, my brother, like came up with sound, like there was such a
Yeah.
cool mix
Yeah.
of like
Yeah. Oh
eclectic.
shit, I forgot about them. But they were
Yeah.
cool. I found them really cool, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Are we old? But I love it so much. I'm just like, oh my god, it's my
No,
favorite.
because
And
they
it's
were
not because it's my brother and cousins, but it's just like it's my favorite
no, yeah,
album.
and they were playing cool music. That was
Mm-mm,
it. It was like it
mm-mm.
was groovy and danceable, and it's like I was like, "Uy, look at Chino, man. He looks cool up
Diba?
there." Yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
diba?
them. What was
But I
what
just
was
like
what
after
was the
that,
name again?
sound,
Sound. Yeah, and they had the cool name. It's like, oh shit, the fucking cool
right?
band name. I should have thought of that name. you know,
But I
Ganon.
was because China and Paolo also. Paolo played the drums, right? And then China would do the
Oh
bass.
yeah.
So they both live in Australia right now, and they still like you can't get it out of them. You can't get the musician out of them because they
Oh, that's
still
cool.
gig. They
They
found
still.
like
Oh,
other
that's good.
people. I mean, they play, and then they're family men. So like, but they'll play, and they're still really good. And I'm just like, oh, these people don't know how good they have it over here. They've
Yeah.
got Paolo and Chino.
Yeah, yeah, musicians and especially musicians because musicians form bands,
Yeah,
more than being a solo writer.
right,
It's really mostly bands, and the thrill of being in a band, you're in a gang, and
right.
you have an actual mission. When you're in a band, you have an actual mission because I talked to this with Paco before. It's like when you're in a band and you start writing songs together, that's already you're getting married to your bandmates. You're getting
Really?
engaged. Yeah, because you're
Talaga?
making a commitment to write something to make art
Wow.
together. You're like the way Wolfgang would write is that the three instrumentalists would jam, bam bam bam. Someone has a riff, and
Hmm.
put together an arrangement. I was pretty good at arranging parts, we would shuffle them around and then put them together. And then we would tape it, and then give it to the singer. Basti would come up with lyrics. You
Hmm.
get inspired by listening to the music.
Right.
And then we would
So
jam
cool.
it, get together in the studio and jam, and then see if it works. And then make demos and see if it works. And then
Right.
so it's it's a commitment, man. It's a real commitment. If you're
Good.
serious in your band, you are. Oh my god! I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
Wolfgang.
that's like
Wolfgang, we
making a film.
lasted 10 years. That's a
Yeah, you
long
guys
time.
did. I
That's a
feel like
long time.
you guys are still going on. If you got back together for anything, I would watch. You know what I mean? Like if you put out a new album tomorrow, like I would buy
No,
it,
I know.
basically.
I totally understand that. But I mean, 10 years.
Of
If you
like
talk,
performance and
no, I
everything.
mean 10 years band years.
It's a
That's a
long
lot.
time.
That's a
Yeah.
long time. That's a long time, especially if you're a successful band. 10 years
Hmm.
is a long time because
Wow.
I mean, especially I'm talking my own thing.
Hmm.
It's like when you're in your early 20s and mid 20s and you're that popular, it gets to your head.
Hmm.
I was a kid, 25, 26, 27. That's
My God.
bata pa yan, man. I mean, now, of course, hindsight is 2020, but of course, back then, I thought I was the shit, but
But you are like
no,
you
I
are
know,
like an
but
exceptionally
but I mean,
talented drummer.
no, I know, thank you, but I mean, if I have more, of course, when you're older, you have more experience, you have more control, you
Right.
have, but so yeah, it's just the commitment of being in a band. So
Right.
musicians will always our radars are always wink, 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 wink. And then if you get wind of another musician and you like their style,
Right.
you can't not say, "Hey, dude, I like how you play guitar. You want to jam? I play drums."
Oh, that's cool.
That's how musicians are.
Right.
Especially the
Right.
ones that are not shy to be in a band.
Right.
Because there are musicians that are like so good, but they just stay in their bedroom because they just can't.
Mm.
They're,
Yeah, because it's
there's
performance. If you're in a band, you're performing.
yeah, and you're sharing, and some people
Right.
can't share. They just can't.
Interesting.
They're not comfortable. So anyway, going back to that thing. Uh,
Wait, I have a funny story. I just
oh,
remembered because like this was maybe late 90s. And I was driving to work. I was working at Unitel at the time. And so I was driving to work. Must have been like 9 in the morning or something like that, or just before. And I saw you coming out of But there used to be like a club on Jupiter, kind of near the cemetery, kind of near.
Yeah, Handlebar, right?
Was it Handlebar?
In
So anyway, it
Polaris.
was parang
Yeah,
Polaris,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
Handlebar.
I was like driving, and then parang there's a stoplight, and then you came out of Handlebar at 9 a.m. So I don't know if you guys had been there since the night before.
Oh,
And I didn't see
really?
you know what? Yeah, it's like you and two other guys, and your hair was like super long then. And so like I
9
stopped.
a.m.
I think 9 a.m., dude. So
Oh,
then
shit.
I looked over. I was like, woof, woof. And I don't know if you could really see me or it was like the light had blinded you because finally it registered with me. Then you just flashed me a peace sign. I was like, what is this
Oh,
peace sign? I was laughing
dude,
so
those were
hard.
those were my hippie days.
Yeah, you were in a
I was
tie-dye. I remember you were in a tie-dye shirt. It
oh
was
my
like
I was a
slash
hippie for a
hair.
while, dude.
It
I
was
was a hippie.
hilarious.
I would call it as like I was a hippie na naliligo. That was
Buti naman.
hippie na hindi mabaho. That was me.
Correct.
But I was so into that. I was so into I
Oh my God, I
saw
just remember that.
I saw Woodstock, the film, and I was like, I fell in love with that whole late 60s hippie
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
Man, for about maybe 2-3 years, I was like that. I was like
I
that.
know. But remember when you started growing out your hair and then it was like Lucy Van Pelt from
Yep.
Peanuts.
Yep, that's how I got my fucking nickname in fucking high school, man. Because every time my mom would never bring me to the barber
It
shop.
would grow out.
She would do it herself. Okay.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she would just because in high school we had a haircut limit. Once your hair started to touch the collar of your shirt,
I had to cut it.
you had to cut it.
Right,
It's
right,
Catholic boys' school, Lasal.
Correct.
So she was like, I don't want to pay for the barber every 2 weeks until when that. So I'm gonna she'll just cut at the collar, and then she wouldn't style the rest of the head.
Reverse mullet. It's like long.
No,
in the
it became
front.
an afro. It would be like
Oh my
growing this
God,
way because
seriously?
because the back is short, but
Short.
everything else is still growing.
That's hilarious.
So everyone started calling me Fang Face and then Teen Wolf, and they got tired of Teen Wolf. They started calling me Wolf as a put down, as a tease, when you get teased in high school. And and then when I joined Antioch, I put Wolf in my application form. I don't know if you know this story.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. So the application form, right, for the weekend.
And did Mike bring you in? Who brought you into Antioch?
No, my because I was boarding. My family was living in Iloilo at the time. They had to move. I think they just had to move there. But I didn't want to move. I was like, I'm a Taurus. I'm like, fuck, I'm staying here, man.
Correct.
I dig my heels. So it's like, so I had to stay with aunts. I had to be a boarder. So I was boarding in the grandparents' house of Miguel Ortigas and David Aguirre. Yeah, because my parents, my mom was friends with them. Pelota partners and all of that. And so I lived there, and then I'm like we said, I'm like introvert extrovert. So I'd be just in the room listening to the radio. I'm so happy doing that already. And then my aunt, she's not really my aunt, but you
Like
know how it
family
is.
friend,
You call
tita,
everybody
correct.
you call everybody tita and tito.
Correct.
So we were in the dinner table, and then she just gets the application form. It's like, and then slams it on you join this. You gotta get out of your room. You need friends. Join this. Exact words. Oh my God.
You need friends. Join
You
this.
need friends. Get out of the room. Because she noticed I was just in the room the whole time. I don't go out. So then the application form goes name, last name, nickname. So I put Leslie Hemora. I go, shit. I never went out in public I never had friends before that. I mean,
No
high school.
way.
No,
Really?
wala talaga. High school friends, wala. Just my classmates.
Seriously? Oh
Just my
God.
classmates. So after dismissal, I have no more friends. I just go home, and my family, those are my friends. My parents, my
Yeah.
sister, those are the people I hang out with. Or
Right.
I'm just alone in the room.
Wow.
watching TV, or in the living room watching TV. I know how to entertain myself. So
Yeah, but how hard
you
to
know,
be like a boarder without your comfort zone at such a time in life? You're kind of a teen, kind of growing into that. That must have
yeah,
not been easy either.
no. But the thing was, I was never exposed to teenage life before that, before Antio.
But
Yeah, dude.
so
Talagang
you're saying Antioch corrupted you.
oh my God! It opened
then-
my world, my
and then
world,
some.
my Antioch made me who I am, and made me who I am, and then marijuana just tweaked me to what I really am.
Right.
But
It just
Antioch was the
opened the
one that's
doors.
like, because you know me as I'm just loud, and and me and Wally, and all of that, your
Oh my
shenanigans, and Mike,
Totally.
and all of them.
Correct.
I was always like that, but at home.
Mm,
I was a clown with my parents, with my sister, my cousins, whatever. But and neighbors, you hang out with the other neighborhood kids.
right, right.
But I never, like at that age, I never had a group of friends that age, like teenagers.
Well, you're stuck with us now. It's
Yeah.
never gonna go away.
No, but then I was so happy. It's like, oh my God, these people are all nice. And then Antioch, and then that was the first time I ever kissed a girl on the cheek, just to
On
beso.
the cheek.
Beso. Everyone is making beso.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm like, holy shit, I'm kissing girls. Yeah, I'm kissing girls. Oh my God. I was 15. Dude, I was 15, 16. Can you imagine that?
So
You just imagine that. You can make that a film. Write that into a film. That's a scene right there.
oh
I was
my
like,
God.
I'm kissing girls. I'm kissing every girl in the room, and they're all cute. Oh my God, what's this? What's this Antioch? Huh? No one ever told
Like,
me about
my
Antioch.
tita doesn't even know about this.
Yeah, my tita doesn't even know. And then of course we did the weekend. I was like, oh my God. And then people are sharing, and then it would be, I don't want to divulge
Let's not go out.
but there's that last part when everyone's in a circle, right? You know what that part is, right?
Yep.
And so, uh, whoever was talking was to be so open with their whatever they were going through at 16. And I was like, holy shit, what's this? That was the first time I ever saw that, ever experienced something like that.
Right.
Something that really, really raw and open. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, she's talking, and then people start crying. I'm like, whoa, okay, why is she
It's a
crying?
lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And you
I'm
just
like-
kissed girls that Friday. You're like, wait, now.
Wait till Sunday,
now the
man.
emotion.
Wait till the end.
now the
Which, by
pugot
the end-
comes.
By the end, I was bawling too. I was like, "Wah!" I was like, and then so it was very, it was an enlightening event in my life, and it just, I think my compassion for human beings started from there.
Oh, wow.
From that, yeah. I mean, real compassion, real, like, because people were giving me hugs. They were total strangers. They hugged me.
Mm.
You
It's
know,
pretty powerful. I mean,
It's
it's pretty powerful to be, and I think we were lucky where we kind of had that very open and accepting community, like especially guys and girls, where it's not, you don't have to be afraid. You know what I mean? And then going
Yeah.
out in the world afterwards, you're like, oh wait, no, life is not like Antioch.
no. But if you project that love to the outside world,
Right.
then you're spreading that message of Antioch.
Right, that's true. That's
You
true.
know, because I'm a hugger now, especially
Right.
here in the States when they don't shake hands. If you shake hands the first meet, second meet you shake hands, third meet you hug already. That's the way it is here.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but I learned how to really embrace a person during those times. I mean, really embrace a person. When especially when you ladies would hang out, you'd have your own thing, and we guys would hang out there in Saint Tropez in East St. Louis. You remember that
Yeah.
part?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
and oh my God, the crying sessions there. Oh my God. Oh my god!
For the
Oh my
guys,
God.
huh? For the
Guys,
guys.
these are guys.
The
You know,
crying
of course,
sessions for
this is
the
all
guys.
after the fifth beer, right? After the
Yes,
fifth beer,
of course.
like, dude, I love you. Oh my god, man, I love you so much. Man. And like, oh my god. So I learned how to be vulnerable.
Right.
And that's when you're 15, 16. That's, I mean,
Right.
those are
It's
those are the years when teenagers usually clam up.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, it was so good. It was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, looking back at it now, I think that is the purpose of that movement, is to show young people, young adults, young people who are about to become adults,
Yeah.
to have that adult kind of love, not the parent child, but
Mm-mm.
equal. You're giving love to another person
Right.
who is your same age as you.
Yeah.
Just another person,
Yeah.
and
And
that's
it's quite
how
pure. It's not tainted. It's
it
very
is. It is
pure.
very pure, man.
Yeah.
It's very pure. That's why I'm still friends with you guys, because it was
Hmm.
pure.
Totally.
It wasn't fake. And then, I mean, the fake people, they didn't last. I don't know them anymore. It's
Yeah.
just like
Right.
that. If there are people who were pure to you and you were pure back, those are the people that you like their energy. So
Yeah.
that even if you don't see each other, you see each other on Facebook, and that's it. If it's their birthday, you type happy
Totally.
birthday,
Totally.
something like that. And
Totally.
that's a big deal for people. And when you get Facebook happy birthdays, and it's like feel good.
Yeah. Totally.
So anyway,
So
I mean,
funny.
I hope see, that's the thing that's lacking in the Philippines, is some Antioch human love, man. My gosh.
Yeah, it's different. I think it's a little different now because sometimes we didn't have social media growing up, so
Yeah.
there's no preconception as much as like now,
Yeah.
possibly. So it's a bit harder, I think, for maybe young people to break through that shell. Plus, it feels like a safer connection to connect through social media, but that's also
Right.
not. It's not as an immediate like your beso beso for the girls.
No, I mean, but I mean, is that culture still alive now in the Antioch batches now? Those kids,
I
are they
mean,
making beso beso? Is that still a thing now, or is it?
probably. I mean, the person you should
Yeah.
ask is JJ. JJ is super active,
Oh, right, right, right.
but
No, but
JJ
I
also
mean,
has kids.
yeah, but I mean, well, I'm talking about here in the States. Well, kids everywhere, it's the hormone. It's a hormonal thing. So whatever, they'll always be, you know, interested in something, the opposite sex, same sex, whatever.
Right,
At
exactly.
at that age.
For sure. I mean, that's like part of growing up.
Oh, and then another thing is, like, it's the most uh number of, not to diminish the other ladies, but a number of mestiza women in one place that I have ever seen in my life. There were so many
Hello?
white. There were so
Your
many white
your
girls
family's
in
from
the.
Iloilo. They have all the mestiza pretty girls from
No, I mean,
there. Hello.
of course I know, but
Yeah.
I mean the Caucasian looking ones, the Spanish looking mestizo ones. So
That's
I was.
Iloilo. Hello.
No, I
That's
know,
all Iloilo. Hello.
but it's like,
Every time I see like a congregation, like, oh my God, they're so beautiful.
yeah,
Grabe.
that is true. But I mean, when you're 15 and then you're making beso all these beautiful girls, ay, it's something else, man. And then, but yun na nga, but when we went through the weekend, it became deeper.
Yeah, it
They
goes
were like,
beyond.
when you start sharing and really being open about it, and then, wow, man. I mean, looking back now, thinking about it, it's like, that's why I'm very open with myself nowadays. I don't really mind talking about myself or what I think.
Mm. Right,
As,
right.
as you can see, I'm fucking talking my ass off. So, and I learned it all from there, from that part of my life. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's really special, and the friendships are, well, it's almost like siblings. You know what I mean? It's basically family at this
Oh my,
point.
yeah, yeah. The experiences we had, I mean, were
Yeah,
extraordinary,
I think so.
extraordinary. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
dude. I
so.
mean, this is like
I don't know if Mike ever told you this. There was one time, you remember his car, the Macho Machine, the
Correct.
fast
The blue
car,
one.
the blue
The
one,
blue one.
yeah, the blue
Did
Toyota.
it, didn't it have a name aside from that? No, not like
Oh
that.
no, well, we called it the Macho Machine. I mean,
Okay.
it's generally called the Macho Machine. That car,
Okay, got
that
it.
model, So I think it was one morning, Misa de Gallo, and it was him, Tiger, Philip, and I. We were
Hmm.
still there, and anyway, we were there in the church in the parking lot, and then Mike said, or Philip said, "Oh, let's go to the club down the road in McKinley,
It's a club down the road in
Polo Club,
McKinley.
the Polo
Ah,
Club."
okay, okay, Polo
Yeah,
Club.
yeah.
I thought you meant like there was a club,
No,
like
no, 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 no,
secret
no,
club.
the Polo
Yeah,
Club.
yeah.
He wanted to get some food. Okay, okay. So, and then we get on the hood of his car,
Oh my God, no.
me and Philip. Okay, we're on the hood, and then we're holding on to the
Oh
wipers,
my God,
and
you
then
guys.
we're just like, this is on the parking lot. He's not moving. The car's not
Ah,
moving.
okay,
We're
okay,
like,
okay, okay.
I dare you, man, dare you. I dare you to move the car.
Oh
So Mike
my
is like,
God.
oh shit, you dare me? Okay. So he starts moving the car
Oh
slowly.
my
And
God.
then we go exit down to that exit gate in the church,
Yeah,
and
you're
then
so crazy.
go to McKinley.
You're
And then he
so
just
crazy.
drives and drives and drives and drives in McKinley. And the other drivers coming the other way, they're just
I like,
screaming. They're screaming in the car. And me and Philip like screaming. Ah! We were on the hood, man. We
you
were on the
guys are
hood.
so insane.
It's insane. It was insane. And
That's insane.
he drove all the way to the front door of Polo Club.
Oh my
That's
God.
about
That's
half
a
a mile.
long,
That's half a
yes,
mile.
that's no joke.
That's no joke. I mean, looking back at it now, I mean, oh my god,
Oh my
we
God.
were
You guys are
insane.
insane. That's crazy.
Anyway, so
I thought you
anyway,
were gonna talk about like when you tied Wally to the tree and then left him there for hours on end.
oh my
I thought
god,
that was crazy. Like you
Woo!
literally tied Wally to the tree in the church parking lot,
Yeah, we were insane.
and he fell asleep because you didn't come back.
We were so bored. That's
Oh
it.
my
We were
God!
such bored 17, 16 year olds, man. We did
Oh
anything,
my God!
anything.
So funny.
And then, oh my god, those years were great. So
Ugh,
anyway, let's go
so
back
funny.
before the people get tired of our private.
I know. Sorry, sorry,
Anyway,
sorry, guys. If there's
so,
anyone listening, we
so wait a minute.
apologize.
So going back to the writing part,
Okay,
that
20 minutes
episode,
later.
that episode you wrote. We have time. We still have time, but
Yeah.
I mean, how did you start? How did you start writing that? Did you start? Did you have an idea for the start or the end, and you just had to fill in the blanks?
Well, so there were three of us, three writers, so you wrote two episodes each. And the showrunner, Jay
Oh wait,
Oliva,
before anything else, who decided who's going to write who, what, which?
in a way, it was a little bit like, for example, one of the writers, Mick Vergara, he loved zombies. So we were like, here, why don't you take episode 4? Because that's essentially a zombie episode. And then we decided I would write the pilot. And then it was just a matter of like, okay, who would be a good match? So in a way it was, it wasn't like, no, this is mine. It was like, okay, this would be good. Would you want to do this? How about this? And then we mapped it out. But for the bigger story arc, Jay Oliva came to Manila. We did like the recce, and then we had what we call the story summit. And
Yeah.
so we mapped out, okay, what's this character arc for Alexandra from beginning to end in 6 episodes? And then what cases can we use from the comic books? Because in the comic books, a lot of them are case of the week, kind of case of a episode.
Right. Yeah.
How can we combine them where it is a nod to the fans and the OG fans of the comic book, but also serves this big arc? So those were the goals. And figuring out like, oh, okay, for episode 2, we realized, oh, these 2 stories are about family. So that's a good thematic and that serves her arc here, right? Or in 3, there's the story of like for the Chanak, and then there's also the story of another sort of, it's combining it also with there's a little known case in Studio A or Studio B. So we combined that. So it was figuring out like what the good combos were, and that gave us a blueprint or kind of a broad strokes roadmap. And then each of us sort of in the room, like mapped out how we thought we would do the episode. And then when we would get stuck, then everyone in the room chimes in until you've solved it. So we did that for the 6 episodes, basically. And then on the last day, read everything through, figured out it tracked, and then we went off and wrote. But when we would write, me and the 2 other writers would always confer, get together, whether we had to work out stuff or whether we had to figure out bigger arc stuff. So we would meet occasionally, and then I would read the drafts, and then we would do notes and then send them up for approval, basically.
How would you come up with a dialogue? How do you do that? How do you decide what these people are going to say, these characters?
Everything, if you're looking at it like from the bottom to a pile, it's daunting, diba? But you need to compartmentalize it. First, you have to think about and we also discussed, luckily we could get from the comic book, because also written in English, you get this character. So you kind of get, okay, she would speak like this. She would be very reverential to the supernatural world because those are the rules, right? There's this courtesy that you have. It's almost like, like a very you need to be diplomatic because you're the Lakan and you're dealing with the supernatural. That's very old world. They have the rules, but you're also dealing with humans. So you figure out how the character could talk, and you agree upon with everybody. And then you kind of figure out, okay, what needs to happen in this scene? And then you just start from there in terms of the exchange. And you benefit also from just absorbing a lot of stuff and then figuring out, testing a few things, seeing where it works. And sometimes that takes the longest, where I know what needs to happen in the scene, but I'm sitting down, I'm getting up, I'm like procrastinating. I'm like, I need more coffee, I need this. But all the time, it's like working in your head up until
oh my God.
Then you're like, okay. And then you kind of start. But then you go back and you refine it. That's
right.
The thing.
Yeah.
Always
you workshop the thing.
You workshop. It's like a song, I'm sure, for you guys.
Yeah.
It's like you go back. Okay, we can do this. And at
so
some point, you need
yeah.
to separate yourself from it also and be like, okay, enough.
You make a demo and then you listen to the demo. Yeah.
Parang ganon. Except it's all in your head up until you start showing other people.
Man, is it when you're done with the story? Are you done? It's like do you feel like, okay, period, the end? Do you feel like that, or do you feel like may kulang sometimes or something?
It depends. Apparently, you need some. There's deadlines for sure, but also at the time, you just need to be. That's also where you have to allow yourself to feel. I feel, for me, I need to feel like I'm in a safe space so that I creatively can just put it down and not overthink it, because I can overthink stuff.
Right.
So, and then if you talk to other people about it and they're like, no, this is good. Then I'm like, okay, then I trust and I just go with it, right? So, but of course, when you watch it again or you think, oh, I could have done this, you always think about that later. But unlike a song where you can perform it again, maybe with a tweak or not, you kind of, once it's locked, it's kind of there. So you're like, okay, it's good. I'm proud of what we all accomplished. Even sometimes you're like, oh, I could have done this, but I'm just like, I just need to let that go.
Dude, it's
there.
It's talaga, it's the best. I mean, it's so good to know that we have our own that can. It's just, because I don't know if I mentioned it the last time, but Netflix, or I think Marceline was the one who told me this. It's like Netflix is funding all these independent anime stories from different cultures. Like there was 2 other anime series that I was watching along with TRESÉ. The one was Blood of Zeus.
Yes.
Which was produced by these Greek guys.
Yeah.
Because that was their culture, And it was, oh my God, it's so gory. but it's so galing. It's so cool because all of these, Zeus and all of the Greek gods are there,
Right.
and it's a battle the whole time. And then the other one would be I don't know if you know this one, Yasuke. It's a black samurai.
But isn't Yasuke before? Parang wasn't there Yasuke before Netflix?
No, this one. Well, I don't know, but this one is like really newly produced because the producer of Yasuke is an artist called Flying Lotus.
Oh,
He's a
I see. I see.
producer. He's an LA producer.
Okay.
He does
Okay.
jazz, avant-garde music. And if you listen to the theme song of that, that's his kind of music. And
Oh, cool.
the guy singing that is another artist called Thundercat. So these are LA jazz musicians, and
Cool.
they're also nerds. So
Right. Right.
he came up with this anime series, Yasuke,
Right. Right.
about a black samurai. And
That's
it's
cool.
So the three, those two, and then TRESÉ, I was watching simultaneously, and it's like, man, it's the same level. And I was
Yeah.
so proud. I was so proud to for those other guys too. It's like Blood of Zeus produced by these two guys with these really Greek names, like
Right. Right.
Stanopoulos, whatever, really long Greek names. So I felt proud for them that they got to make their own culture the way that it was supposed to be. It's not romantic Zeus the god. No, they kill each other. It's
Right. Right.
story and stuff.
Right. I
So
haven't finished it yet. I'm actually halfway. There's so many, like
yeah,
Yasuke is also on my list. Like I heard the premise and the story, so I really want to see that. And now you're telling me about the music. I want to see it even
yeah.
more.
Listen to the theme song. If you can just listen to it, it's so. That's the kind of hip hop jazz music that's happening now in LA. It's
Cool.
very it's right. It's trademark Flying Lotus. That's his kind of
Okay.
music,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he's the executive producer like you. So it was his idea because that's the thing now. It's like being a nerd is not frowned upon anymore. So
No.
if they like, it's like I have money, let's do an anime. And it came out really good
Yeah,
because
that's awesome.
the animation on Yasuke is really good too because there are other characters, other beings that are there in that show,
Right.
and the way they draw them. Oh man, anime is my favorite
Have you
animation style.
seen? It was done in Japan, but I think they also did an English language script. But it's on Netflix. The Ninja Batman or Batman Ninja.
Oh, I saw. Oh my
It's
god,
so beautiful. Like that
it's
one is so
so
beautiful.
good.
Also,
The
it's so
concept,
good.
the concept was so awesome. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch those things again.
And I think now Star Wars announced, which I'm also excited to see, like Star Wars, but all Japanese artists. So I think it's going to be like Batman Ninja in a way, which I'm
Is it gonna be
excited to see.
Netflix or in Disney?
I didn't. It's probably Disney Plus, most
Yeah, yeah,
likely on Disney Plus. But that one, I'm like, oh, that's going to be cool because I really enjoyed Batman Ninja, and I also learned a lot in terms of how they mostly do story for Japanese anime, like with the way they map it out, and then when you actually do the English, and I read this and I saw like a thing when they did the English language script, you kind of had to rejigger it because a lot of the sort of they didn't just translate it. So they, in a way, they kind of had to rearrange the edit and kind of do a script to fit it in a way. So I thought that process must have been so fascinating. And the fact that both the American writers and the Japanese creators were okay with it in terms of that collaboration. So, and I think both work really well, like in the Japanese and then because in the English one, Mark
I
Hamill, I
would
think, is
with
good.
the Japanese anime, I would rather listen to it in Japanese and read the subtitles because I love listening to the Japanese
Yeah,
language.
but it's the same for TRESÉ though, because I feel like it's two different. In a way, it's
It's
almost
very
like a
different.
different. If you listen to it in English, which is the original, how we recorded it, and then you
Uh-huh.
listen to the Filipino dub, right? Because it hits well, because also you and I grew up in the Philippines, so it also hits
Yeah.
differently in the Filipino dub. But actually, in the English, it's just such a pleasure to listen to the performances also and listen to how it
No, I
travels
I
through.
I I I actually preferred, and I hope people don't get mad at me for this, but I actually preferred the English dub because the original dub, because when she would cast the spell or a chant in Tagalog, there would be more impact. Because they're all speaking in English, and then she would do the whatever
Filipino spells.
the spell, yeah, the spell in Tagalog, and be like, I think there's more impact in that. But I'm gonna try the Filipino dub, of course.
Try the Filipino dub because
Yeah.
listen to it in Filipino it's also iba. It's different in terms of there's a poetry in it. So,
Yeah, I know.
and also Filipino, not Tagalog, kasi Tagalog is a dialect. Right?
Yeah, I know.
For the
Yeah,
region.
Filipino. Yeah,
Filipino, kasi we also use words. Filipino as a language actually uses words that are not just Tagalog. So
Right.
when everyone says Tagalog dub, I always am the nerd that corrects them.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, it's a language that represents the nation.
The nation. So it's Filipino.
It's
Yeah.
Filipino, exactly. That's why some people were like, I think somebody put on like a YouTube thing like, yeah, it's the Tagalog dub because there's no language called Filipino. I would be like, no, the language is called Filipino.
Yeah. Tagalog is a sub-language. Yeah.
Correct. It's a dialect.
It's a dialect.
It
Right,
makes
right.
up a lot of the Filipino language, but it's not the entirety of the Filipino.
No, I mean, it's the dialect that includes, Metro Manila, that whole area. That's Tagalog, So,
Right, exactly.
so whatever is spoken in the capital, I guess that's the
But
national language, right?
but in a way, no, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily because also Filipino, nerd like language.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Go.
The language encompasses words that are Bisayan, from different dialects, like up north. Like we use the word karitan, which Rudolph Baldonado, who supervised the translations for the dub, pulled this word, and it's not Tagalog. It's called karitan, and it doesn't mean hell. It means like otherworld or underworld, and that's not
What's
Tagalog.
the word?
So
Karitan?
karit-an. So karitan.
Karitan.
Yeah. And people are like, where is that word from? I'm like, see, it's not Tagalog. It's like, it's part of the language where, and he even thought, and this is, so I discussed the dub with Rudolph, and we talked about, okay, how would this character speak? Like the twins, actually, even in the book, they're kind of konyo. They're basically like you guys.
Yeah, they are.
They're basically you guys.
Yeah,
When
they
I
are.
see the twins,
Even the
I think of
accent.
you, Sina Mike, like I think of all you guys, Sina Edmond, like that.
Yeah.
Like
It's
they're
like
basically
when-
you guys.
when the twins started talking, it's like, uy, konyon to ah.
Con,
It's
and
like,
that's what I told. I'm like, okay, this is
Makati
what
boys
I had to
to, ah.
explain. Yeah, I had to explain. This is what konyo is because the Griffin who voiced the kambal in the English language, he grew up in the States. I'm like,
He didn't.
this is what konyo is.
There's a certain sector of society
Correct. This is
where
like
the men,
basically
where the men and women speak weird like that.
they hold on to hoods of cars to go to Polo Club.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, in that scenario, I remember now. You know where Tiger was? You remember his moped? They had mopeds.
Yeah,
He was on the
wait,
moped.
the hopper.
The hopper. Was it
Hopper, right?
hopper? No. It was a notch above the hopper. It was
Was it a
more.
Vespa? Was he on a Vespa, or it was
No,
like a
not a Vespa. It was
motorcycle
still-
kind of thing?
Yeah. It was like a Japanese moped. But he was on that. We were on the hood of the car, and then Tiger was like following the car.
Guys, they're so insane. Ano ba?
You can make that a scene in a movie too.
Oh my God.
See, that's okay. So before we get out of here, there's so many films that can be made that are in my head in the Filipino context. Like you remember, have you seen On the Job, the one of
Eric Mati.
and the other one, the one with Ann Curtis, the really violent one,
I am by bust.
By Bust. Oh my god, dude! I was like, holy shit! This is more violent than the violent American films that I've seen. It's like, wow. So it's like there's so many other scenarios like that, like On the Job.
You
I
should
mean-
check. Actually, because also the Philippines, but we're kind of a small territory. But if you check out like if we were in connection with Southeast Asia, it makes it a bigger territory. So part of that is also seeing films from our neighbors. And
Yes.
have you seen the Raid from Indonesia?
No.
Oh my god, I think it's on Netflix. You should
The
watch it.
Raid.
Yeah. So my recommendations to you: The Raid,
Uh-huh.
Extreme Job.
Extreme Job. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because that's also part of how we grow like cinema in the Philippines, is kind of just being exposed to like what the neighbors are doing now, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not being in our room, we kind of have to go out and make
Yeah.
them beso beso.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But what I was trying to say was is that the Filipino culture has so many um facets of and experiences that you can put on film, and they haven't done that yet. It's like if there is an American Pie, there is for sure an American Pie,
Yeah.
Filipino style. Not to copy them, but that kind of
Yeah.
high school going to college kind of thing, where it's just kalokohan all the time. Like being on the hood of a car, a speeding car in traffic, you know, stuff like that. It
Yeah.
happened. So it's like I think the Philippines can get away with a lot of stuff like that. And another thing that I noticed is like in Buy Bust, it was Ad Curtis, and then in On the Job, it was Piolo Pascual. So you had these showbiz personalities crossing over to this other world, the alternative film, Filipino film world, and actually looking like serious actors. You know what I mean? And Ann Curtis, I mean, she looked like, I mean, an action star. I mean, if there's one thing Ann Curtis is, she's a damn good action star. She's proven it there in that Buy Bust film. I mean, I was like, Ann Curtis. I mean, she better kick my ass, and she did. When I was like, oh damn, yeah, Ann Curtis. If she's not a good singer, I know that. We know that. She's probably not a good dramatic actress, but she's a damn fine and good action star.
Yeah. I
And
mean, like that genre, like action, I wish we did have more of it because,
yeah,
it's kind of, it's fun and it does travel. Although it's pricey. So it's figuring out like, okay, then how do you, that's what I'm saying in terms of like how we need to be realistic and really empathize with, okay, where's our audience now?
right.
Right? In terms of like, how is it best, what kind of stories will connect with them? Because the more you build that, then if you build a healthier ecosystem, you can actually have a wider range of films and stories that you can tell. But you
Yeah.
kind of need to start somewhere in terms of that build. So it needs to also see, okay, how can we connect with the audience?
My gosh, it's so hard. I mean,
It's not easy.
it's not easy because in music, you don't have that thought unless you really want to. Yeah, unless you're really your purpose is to make pop music that is popular and will make you the instant money. It doesn't last forever, but flavor of the month. But musicians don't really think in those terms. It's like whatever is coming out, it sounds good to us.
Yeah,
Then
but also it's cheaper for you guys to produce a song than it is to
yeah,
produce a film or a series.
that's right. No, yeah,
So
yeah,
you can be more off the cuff, unfortunately for us. Like
right,
if you want to build an industry, but it's not to say again, it's not to say you're gonna do it cheap and fast either, right? And there's a lot of thought that goes into it. But the where you can start is as an audience member, am I stressed out about the pandemic? So then you're like, I don't want to see a show about the pandemic because I'm living
right.
it. You just
Yeah,
kind of go with that. It's really that empathy for where are you at now? What are people watching? What haven't they seen? What would they want to watch? And you start with yourself because at the end of the day, we're all audience members also.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so last before we go, I just want to know and tell the audience your all-time favorite films. No, not by number, not by chart. Just
Oh,
the films that just you see it on cable and you're gonna watch it. It's like
it's
that.
so hard, especially because there's like some of the moment and then, but all time is hard. Lah. All time is so hard. Yeah, that's really never an easy question. Because I like so many different genres.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
like
matter.
if you're like
So
if
pick
you're
five.
like animation, then it's like
Yeah,
Studio Ghibli and like
pick five and then one from each whatever genre. Let's say
okay,
five
so
genres.
like let's say I love My Neighbor Totoro for animation. For historical kind of action, there's a Korean film called The Assassination. The director is Choi Dong-hoon. That's really good. He also has this other good film called The Thieves. That's really good. And then for, gosh, that's so tricky.
How about the Mababaw Marvel superheroes?
Marvel, I actually like
DC.
the first Avengers, because the structure of that is so tight. I really like that. I liked Wonder Woman just because it was so. I love Black Panther. I really love Black
Oh
Panther.
yeah, Black Panther.
Like even the construction and how it's made and how they showcased like the culture and the hero. Like it was
Wakanda.
so good. And Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars like Episode 4 has to be up there.
A New Hope. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, New Hope has to be up there. Old
How about
school, like there's this old French film called Rules of the Game by Jean Renoir that I really like. But also a lot of like 30s Preston Sturges like comedies are really good.
Mababaw comedy?
Mababaw comedy, Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh
So good.
yeah, I love
Kung
that.
Fu
Oh my
Hustle is
god.
so good, dude.
Ah.
So good.
Oh my god. I watched that like recently on HBO.
Yeah, but that's why you
So
like
good.
Extreme Job. Extreme Job is kind of Kung Fu Hustle,
Okay,
not
okay.
as, but it's super laugh trip like that.
Yeah.
Yung tipong you can watch it every time and you're still laughing. There's so many, Wolf. I can't narrow it to 5. Like I
Yeah,
love Silence
I
of
know.
the
Okay, no,
Lambs, and I
I'll just
love.
I'll shout out a genre and then whatever. So okay,
Okay.
let's say the 80s, not the chick flicks, but the college, like 16 Candles, that kind of thing. The John
Like the John
Landau,
Hughes,
The John Hughes style.
Mm, maybe. Well, maybe Pretty in Pink. No, actually, no. What do I like better? I like 16 Candles. That's good. Of course, there's St. Elmo's Fire,
Oh my god.
right? But you remember when we all went to Field of Dreams? We all watched
Oh
Field of
yeah.
Dreams, and we were sitting on the floor. And I think it was you, and Peachy was looking at the cornfield, and then she's like, "Where's Kevin Costner?" And you or Philip was like, "He's there." And Kevin Costner's face was so big. Peachy's like, "Where's Kevin Costner?"
Oh, we were in the floor in the front because it was full. The theater
It
was
was
full.
full, yeah. That's when you could sit on the floor in the theater, and we didn't
Yeah,
care because
oh
we're
my
just like,
gosh.
let's just sit on the floor.
Yeah, Field of Dreams is good. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
If you build it,
Those-
they will come.
Correct. Like all those, like, like that era.
How about
filmmaking.
are you into sports films?
Yeah, I love a good sports film. I watched The Blind Side lately, and I think that holds up. But of course, there's Rudy, and Cool Runnings, always fun, right? There's always something to love about the Jamaican bobsled team,
Oh, Cool Runnings. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite films.
right? It's so good.
How about mafia style? That kind of
Well,
thing. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be Italian mafia, like that style, gangster.
yeah. I mean, there's The Godfather, of course, but I actually like. There are, what's it called again? Gosh, I'm blanking on the name. There's some Japanese ones that are cool. Sorry, the name is escaping. I'll look for it and then I'll message you. But there's The Godfather, and actually LA Confidential. I like in that noir,
Oh
in that
yeah,
noir genre. I really like that. So
yeah, that's good. LA
that's a
Confidential.
good one. Yeah.
Okay, last rom-com.
Oh, rom-com. What's a really good rom-com? Actually, right now, the really good rom-coms are Korean series more than films.
Really?
But Yeah, because that's actually like it's a great way to do romantic comedy, and it's very accessible. So 16 episodes, you fill in more of the romantic stuff than you would do for 2 hours, right? In terms of the rom-com. So for me, that also is groundbreaking
Oh wow.
in terms of that. And then for Filipino films, it's kind of I'm hard up because there's so many, big and small films that I do like. Even like the romantic films of Joey Reyes are actually really good, even the older ones,
Uh-huh.
like with Sharon and all that, because he really got some great performances out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
that's why
those are
Sharon is
really
Sharon.
right. And he's so even back then he was such a good actor's director, and he still is now. So
Oh,
I really
okay.
love those. Yeah.
Have you seen In the Heights?
Not yet. I haven't.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Oh
just that
my.
opening scene though. I mean, I've seen it in the musical theater here in the Philippines. So I think I've seen
Really?
some. Yeah, yeah. They stage it with Noy Volante.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, and I think even Lin Manuel came for like
Oh,
opening night
wow.
or
So
something like
how?
that.
So what is the music live? Is there a band playing the music?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Repertory style, basically.
Yeah.
Parang ganun.
Wow. Yeah, it's a really good movie. I mean, and they got a Korean guy to direct it.
No, John Chu is
Oh, it's Chinese. I'm sorry. Is this
Chinese
Chinese?
American. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he's Chinese American. Yeah,
John Chu.
because he also did Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the one. He did crazy. And then in because there is if you see it on HBO, there's they have it's not an after dark, but it's a podcast. So there's interviews there,
Really? Okay.
and
I
they
mean,
were
the way
just
they staged the music was so good. Even that opening number is so different from the opening number, and then I
yeah.
think they did that super well.
What the director wanted was because they said okay, we can get just have like 15 dancers. It's like no man, I want 100 dancers.
Yeah, it's got to be
So
big.
so that's when you see the dance routines, there are so many dancers doing the same thing in unison. Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's so that's gonna get an Oscar nod, man. I mean,
It should.
yeah.
I mean, in a way, it's like it reminds you of those really good Bollywood films. And when you watch,
Yes,
actually,
yes.
even watching Bollywood films, it's its own groove altogether. Where it could be like a murder mystery, but then there's song and dance in between.
Yeah.
Like it's so trippy, but you just go with it. So
The Butler did it.
exactly. I love it so much. Someone's died. Okay, let's break into song and dance.
Yeah, yeah,
I love it. I mean, there's so much of like, and it becomes part of. It's the same with Korean stuff and like Indian and Chinese and Japanese. Like there's it. They do it where it becomes a part of their cinematic language. And
Yeah.
so I think we're also developing that for the Philippines. Like we're not quite there yet, just because we can mimic so many different styles. So it's really just about the storytelling, like really getting to tell the best stories we can.
Oh yeah, and one last thing, I have to tell you this this other show, the what's getting popular nowadays are black horror films. Direct all and when I say black, everyone's black. The director's black, producer, the actors are all it's all black.
So
Black
like
produced.
Get Out,
Like Get Out, yeah, yeah.
Jordan
That guy,
Peele.
Jordan Peele,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Scary shit.
He's such a
There's-
great filmmaker, like full stop though. Like he's
Have you
such
seen
an amazing-
the one? There's an HBO one, and it's called Lovecraft County. Have you
Oh,
seen?
is it good?
Oh, it's so good. It's
Like
all-
it's on my list, but I have a long list, so sometimes I
know,
don't
but
get to
yeah,
it.
this one is so good and it's very historical. Before we get out of it, go to Wikipedia and go to like type in Oklahoma City black riots,
Okay.
Black Wall Street riot in Oklahoma City. The setting of that Lovecraft County starts with that event.
Oh wow, that's
It was
awesome.
a very violent, really racist event that happened, and it was only getting attention the past 2 years. And then Lovecraft County really put it there because that's the opening scene.
I love that. That's so great.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, Tanya Yuson, thank you very much.
Thank you, Wolf. It
I-
was so
I-
good to chat Sorry if
Yeah.
people got bored when we were reminiscing. That's what old
No,
people
no, no.
do.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's that's what old people do. Yeah. So
Sorry, kids.
yeah,
You'll get here one point.
congratulations on TRESÉ. What's up next, man? Is there anything in the
Um,
works?
well, we have a bunch of films and series that we're working on for different platforms for Base, which is the company, I co-founded and which produced TRESÉ. We're hoping for, fingers crossed, that, we can get future seasons of TRESÉ. But we also have sort of a mini series on Netflix right now called Quarantine Tales, which is from Indonesia. And that's also cool in terms of 5 different directors, and 5 different shorts and it was an exercise where we said, okay, what can we do during the pandemic? And it's just the middle of the year in 2020, so let's just make some films and see how we go. And so we made sure to make it not just about the pandemic, but there were 5 shorts shot with 5 super talented directors, each within a day, each with pandemic protocols. But it's not just about being in a mask and everything like that. It's actually, each has quite different perspectives. So if you have a chance, check it out on Netflix.
What's it called again?
Quarantine Tales.
Quarantine Tales. Man, just give me all those titles in Messenger.
Yeah, I'll send it to you so you can look for it.
All right, thank you very much for your presence and your time, Tanya. I really appreciate it. WDRS Talk, executive producer of the Netflix original Filipino anime series TRESÉ, Tanya Yuson. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Thanks.
thought you were just like outro and then we cut.
Oh, no. Wait. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, Wolf. Thanks. Talk to you
All right.
soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.